Coming real, it's the next episode.
Welcome to Chicago, where the fire serve cold, with the Wolves and the Hawks never shiver in the snow. The Bulls keep it running, the Sox run the south, the Cubs run the north, but the Bears run the house. True Chicago sports fans got their ears to the street. Any team make a move and they never skip a beat. And in this house, this is where we be. Welcome to the show with E-Roc and Big Z.
Welcome to Chicago. Coming from the True Chicago Sports Fan Cave, this is the TCSF podcast with E-Roc and Big Z.
Yes, sir.
Episode 110 is brought to you by 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fan, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF podcast t-shirts. Search for keyword True Chicago and use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. That's TrueFan15. Go and get your official TCSF shirts now.
Go get them.
As always, I'm Big Z, and I'm here with my boy E-Roc. What up, E? Welcome back.
Yes, sir. What's up, Z? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the show. If you are a first-timer or a long-timer, please remember to hit that subscribe button, that notify button, and go ahead and give us a review on your listening app of choice. You can find us on Facebook at True Chicago Fans. You can follow us on Twitter at True Chi Fans and on IG at True Chicago Sports Fans. And don't forget, you can support the show with a monthly subscription at anchor.fm/True Chicago Sports Fans. Go on over there, click on support, and you can subscribe for as low as 99 cents a month. Listen, do you like the show?
I do.
Are you a fan?
I am.
Then tell your friends, and they will tell their friends, and we can all be friends. If you like the content, if you like what we bring to the show, maybe it makes you laugh, maybe it makes you cry, maybe you're sick of us. It doesn't matter. Share it with everyone that you know so they can be sick of us too. Z, what's up, brother? How you been?
Man, it's been a crazy couple of weeks, man. Tons of sports, tons of stuff going on. Between going to a bunch of Sox games, Sky games, I also went to a Juan Gabriel concert.
Man.
Yeah, it was all candlelight lit in an undisclosed location.
That sounds romantic.
It was romantic. No, awesome band. They tore it up. This young kid, just, good voice, and the band behind him was just ripping. Like,
yeah.
You and me are very, very in sync when it comes to music.
Yep.
Especially live music,
yes.
When you can feel it,
yes.
That's exactly what you want to have. And, it was a great, amazing experience. But we got to keep the ball rolling for 2022.
Yeah.
And we both are super busy. I've been practicing with the fellas at Bettler.
Okay.
Yeah, over here, boy. Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had to get used to that lane over there because I do have a Labor Day tournament tomorrow, in the morning. So
Okay.
10 a.m. call time.
Wow, okay.
4 games. So and a lot of these guys are really, really good. They have no handicaps.
And they got the day off, so they're like, why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, so we got that tournament. And then the next day, I have my Tuesday night Magic Bowling at Waveland. The boys are back.
There you go.
That's right. The champs are walking in, and we're going to be the hunted instead of the hunters.
You got your Pen Pals jersey ready?
Yeah. We're supposed to get jackets.
I heard.
We're supposed to get the Waveland jacket that says champions on it. So we definitely have a target on our back. And you know what? I welcome it.
Absolutely.
Bring it.
That's the fun part about it, right? Like, that's like winning, that exhilaration of
Oh my
winning.
God.
That's the best. But then, like, you got the B side, right? What comes after that?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's coming after you. So that always makes it a little bit more fun. It puts more pressure on you, but
A lot more pressure on me.
But I mean, like, because people are looking now. Who do I got to knock off to get to the top?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of new teams, and especially Louis and Eric are going to join their own team. So, and they're really good bowlers.
Yeah.
So I don't know who else is going to complete their foursome, but they're going to be coming for us.
Yeah, well, I know how much you like foursomes. God.
All right, E, what have you been up to?
Man, look, I've been doing 3 things. That is softball, and softball. It's all day, every day. That's all we do, but you know that I love it. Hitting lessons, junior high softball, house league softball, and travel league. I mean, it's just nonstop. That's literally all I do, but the fun thing to me is that now going over to a travel team, I'm meeting parents of kids that I don't know. My daughter's meeting new kids that she doesn't know. Mm-hmm. I will tell you what, the difference in watching her practices at like a high or the junior high or the house league level is amazing. There's no drop balls. They go through so much work and so many drills. So because everyone's doing their job.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to see. And this is like a B-level team. We're not even going to be doing a lot of games. It's more tournaments. It's more training. And then when spring comes, when it's going to be real serious. But I'm also doing my best to try to steal their actual practices and bring them over to ours. Because, I mean, look, I told them before, I says, I'm just a knucklehead that watches a bunch of stuff on YouTube trying to teach some kids. You know what I mean? So that's what it really comes down to. I get to see guys that have been doing it for 20 years. I get to bring some of that to our organization. So that's fun. And, yeah, man, look, one really cool thing is I'm going to be working Riot Fest.
Oh, boy.
Riot Fest on the 16th. Stern Pinball, we're going to have a bunch of games there. So we get to hang out there and make sure the games don't break. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I've never been. It was funny because Jody, who is the marketing guy at Stern, he comes through and he was like, hey, are you going to Riot Fest? I said, man, I'm not going to no fucking Riot Fest. You know, shit, I got softball every day and then twice every other day. Like, and then my boss comes in. He goes, okay, so this guy took this day. Which day do you want this left? And I was like, oh, shit, okay. So he wasn't saying, do you want to go and listen to music?
He's saying you're going.
Hey, you're going to go fucking work, which is cool. I mean, it's just one of those benefits, you know what I mean? So, it's just been a lot. It's been a lot, man. I'm excited. Look, I'm excited to be back on the mic, be in the studio together. I mean, we have a really, really cool show planned.
Oh, man, I've been waiting for this for 3 weeks, man.
for three whole weeks?
3 whole weeks.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, today, of course, we have all our normal stuff, but we got a very special guest in the house tonight. Today, whenever, I don't even know what time. What time is it?
It is noonish.
That's the problem.
1:44.
When we were in a studio in a basement with no lights, it's the same time.
It's like Vegas. Just keep pumping in the oxygen.
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, our guest today just released his comedy special, American Hero, on Amazon Prime. Welcome to the show, Ken Garr.
Hey, what up?
Man, look, this is exciting. This
Very
is exciting.
exciting.
We went to that show.
Yeah, you did.
We were there. Yeah, we were there, yeah.
The day Mikey O was in here.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah, so we had Mikey O in here, and he's like, hey, you want to go to a comedy show? We're like, yeah.
Always promoting.
You know,
Always.
Mikey never takes a day off.
Yeah.
This is the second time on the show. He came through the studio. We just started having guests like the beginning of this year because we started during COVID. And he's like, hey, do you know Ken Garr? Like, yes.
You had no idea.
He's like, oh, this guy's great. He goes, you got to come tonight because we've been there before. We did work with the CPD night, so we have that little talent card, you know. And he's like, oh no, you got to come tonight. You know, just come to the door. I got you, this and that. And then when the person who's saying your national anthem, which we'll get to a little bit later.
Sure.
He was there.
Yeah.
He goes, hey, you want to go meet him? We're like, yeah. But we didn't go right away. We wouldn't bother him.
Oh.
And then Mike was like, dude, they're leaving. And we're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Went up the stairs. But yeah, that was a really, really, really cool thing. I don't think I've ever been to a taping before.
It was, it was insane. That was the second special I've taped with Mikey O. It was cool. It was just a great experience. We did like a 6-camera shoot, and I had tons of great openers. Avi Sanchez, Gigi Dugan, I think Joey V was there. And it was just a great way to come home. And I could have shot the special anywhere, but I'm like, after the last couple of years that we had, I'm like, I want to come to Chicago. The crowds are always hot here. They love comedy. And that's where I got my start. I got my start at Mikey O shows.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man. I was just
come full circle.
Little metal widow.
He is so he's so generous with his time, with his like opportunities he loves to give people. I mean, that's how we got linked up with him and working with the Knights and doing some of the stuff that we've been able to do. So he is super generous with his time, and we're really, really happy to have you here. And look, that's going to be our show today. But before we get to that...
You're like, I'll see you later.
All right, thanks for having me. Check out my special.
Oh, man. So we're going to continue to talk to Ken a little bit later. But first, this is The Big 3 with Big Z.
Thanks, E-Roc. I'm Big Z, and you're not. For today's stories. Oh, my God. All right. Story number 1.
I'd like to take his face off. Yes.
Face Off. Did you like that movie? I love that movie.
Yeah.
With Travolta?
Yeah, Travolta, Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Probably their best performances, and
You know the guy who wrote that was just on mushrooms or
Oh,
something.
1,000%.
It's like, what if I take your face and put it on your face?
He's like, what if we can't get Nick Cage? Like, then you don't do the movie.
All right, so face off. An alligator bit a man's face while he was swimming near a lake in Tampa, Florida.
That's a whole different movie.
Yeah. You shouldn't. First of all, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
You should not be swimming in any lake in Florida.
No.
No,
At all.
not at all.
Never, dude. I've lived down there.
Yeah.
You go to the golf. You go golfing or whatever. You'll see 4 alligators in the golf course,
Yep.
just chilling.
Yeah, they hang out behind. My dad lives down there now.
Yeah.
He's retired. He had to go somewhere warm, and they had a little man-made pond in the back,
Right.
and it was a gator. When he first moved there, and he used to fish out of that pond just to see what people threw in there.
Yeah.
And he fucked with that gator all the time, and I'm like, dude, you're like in your 60s, and now he's in his 80s. Thank God that guy's gone.
Have you called him lately? He might have had his face bit off.
Yeah, E, this story is about your dad.
We didn't know how to tell you.
I mean, this is crazy. A fire rescue took the 34-year-old man to the hospital after the alligator bit his face off. This is according to Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, and they dispatched a contacted trapper to the lake to investigate the incident. There's nothing to investigate. The alligator lives there.
Yeah.
That's his home.
Yeah.
Do not fuck with alligators. It's simple.
Whatever happened to what was it? Was it Chance the Snapper? Is that what was his name?
Whatever it is.
Yes, the snap.
Yeah, the gator. Like they brought in that skinny little guy.
I think he's
from
like
Florida.
Yeah, they're super huge now at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, you just don't. What are you doing there? Like, this is not a swimming hole. That's an eating hole.
I wouldn't swim in a pool in Florida, let alone a lake, dude.
No, that's why you have the fucking ocean, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you still got sharks there too, right?
Yeah, but ain't no fucking gators.
Well, you ain't out swimming a shark.
Here's the
They
thing.
can outrun a gator.
Here's the thing. If I die in a shark attack, that's a way cooler story than
cooler.
I was swimming in the lake and I got bit off by a gator. Like, that's a whole different fucking. That's
Plus,
a whole
the guy's
story.
alive, so he's
Yeah.
got like that's.
And here's the thing. To be honest, like, it is Florida, and we don't know if it was just a fucking gator from Miami for the Florida Gators.
Wow.
On bath salts.
Wow.
Right? That's happened.
It was
That's
it
happened.
was a freshman. Walk.
Yeah.
It was a redshirt freshman.
Right.
Bit his face.
He's like, I'm a backup quarterback.
Wow.
Trying to get this scholarship. What?
Trying to get a full face.
That's right. All right, story number 2. And this one is for you. I had to pull this out of the archives. A Southwest Airlines pilot says he will pull back this airplane and return it to the gate if passengers don't stop sending me nudes over airdrop.
So this continues while we're on the ground. I'm going to have to pull back to the gate. Everybody's going to have to get off. We're going to have to get security involved. And it's vacation that's going to be ruined. So you folks, whatever that airdrop thing is, quit sending naked pictures. Let's get yourself to Cabo.
So if you get on a plane back to LA and it's Southwest, don't do that.
Look, it was a big misunderstanding. I was trying to send the picture to my wife. I accidentally sent it. Yeah, I saw that, man. He's like, and it was funny about that story. The pilot didn't know what the airdrop was.
Yeah, so,
Right, so
Like,
you would just...
listen up, you kids with your airdrops. He thought they were Jordans.
I remember a similar story to this, but it was a guy. It was a passenger just sending it all to female passengers on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And-
Yeah, because it comes up who's available
Yeah.
with the airdrops. It's like, oh, Tiffany's here. And if you have it open,
Yeah.
So it's going to, first of all, you're the pilot. You're driving a plane. Why are you on your phone?
I think you're flying the plane.
Well, you know what? Well, he's still driving when you get
I
out of the
think
gate.
He was sending it to other passengers. That's the picture. He was sending the picture to like people around that had
Yeah.
their phones on. But like, here's my take on that. Like, it had to be a tiny dick. You know what I'm saying? Because if he's got a big dick, like no one's complaining. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's a nice dick.
Wow, that's impressive there.
Yeah. Very-
No wonder you got 2 seats.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you got? The extended seatbelt.
It's like, you need an exit lane. Oh, fuck, man. Yeah, look. Why? Like, what? I mean, like, what do you, how do you think that's going to end up for you?
I think that's more like, let me see if I send this and look at and watch their reaction. Like, oh my God.
Okay, but then, like, you're in a big fucking metal tube.
Yeah.
What do you think's going to happen? They're going to be like, hey, you, dick guy, go home, you're bye.
It'd
Like,
be funny if the air marshal starts checking dicks. I'm sorry, everybody.
You're going to have to
Whip
pull it
out
out,
your
sir.
dick,
Yeah,
guys.
pull it
Let me
out,
see.
sir. All right. Oh, it's a little veiny, not the truth.
It's definitely gonna be the white guys. When you
all,
look at a white
all
guy.
of the training for that job comes from that one scene in Porky's.
Oh, my God, Porky's.
I demand you take your pants off.
Funny thing is that flight was going to Cabo.
Oh.
So you know how people get when they go to Cabo.
Yeah, but usually that happens on the way back.
Yeah, usually it's on the way back. People are
Yeah.
still messed up. All right, story number 3. Hey, E, I know you like wings, but Do you go to Hooters?
Do I go to Hooters?
The restaurant.
Yes.
Let's keep that one.
I go for the chicken wings.
You go for the chicken wings. All right, man. I got a story that might make you think twice about this. Justice Sinclair, 24 years old, was taken into custody because she was witnessed by coworkers dipping hot wings in her vagina before serving them to customers. From what the authorities told us, Jessica would dip the wings into her vagina while on her period. This was done to customers who had been rude and made off remarks about her appearance.
See, I'm into that.
Yeah.
I'm down with
I
that.
mean, you talk about blue cheese.
I mean, to be honest, it sounds like these people deserved it.
Oh, no, they deserve it, but this is a health issue.
This is a lot of vinegar on these. Like, what the fuck is this? What's that?
It's a new sauce.
It's like it's
Why
weird.
does this wing taste like pennies?
It's like it really does taste like chicken.
Oh.
How do they get a chicken and fish combination going?
Oh my God! I mean, this is disgusting, man. It's really disgusting, especially if she's on her period.
But who ratted her out? Like, that's my, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
was she in the kitchen doing this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it sounds like it.
So she, it's kind of like you have the open kitchen. They grab the plate. So she was going like somewhere else and just rubbing, the 911 sauce all over her vagina.
I need y'all to do me a favor. Someone please call 911.
Oh my God.
Someone please call 911.
Hooters fell off though. Didn't
Oh,
they?
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I remember, like that was like they used to have great wings and
Are you
like
talking
great
about
service,
the
and then
food
all
or
of a sudden
the
the food was great too. The
food was
employees
great.
fell off
Yeah.
too, man.
Employees one.
Dude,
Like
I've
the
had
ones- yeah.
I've had a couple pregnant Hooters waitresses.
Oh my God.
Damn.
It's like I
Come
wasn't
on
done
now.
with that beer. I didn't need you to wipe it off the table.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
that-
it fell off though because they used to have great wings. And,
What was your order at Hooters?
I just got like just regular. I get all drums. I don't,
Yeah.
You know.
What?
Yeah, I'm an all drum guy. But yeah, I get like 12 drums and some curly fries and a beer, and that was it. But yeah, I went one time and I'm like, man, they changed wings or something.
Yeah.
It's all fatty.
Really, really cheap wings now. Yeah.
It's everybody though. Everyone that serves wings, like
Well,
there was
they're-
a shortage.
They're like, there's no shortage.
Okay, what are they doing the rest of that?
There's
chicken,
$65 a case now,
though? Yeah,
which is ridiculous.
Is that a
yeah,
lot?
yeah,
that's
a lot.
That's what the store.
So
the shortage
so it used to be
supply and demand.
like about $25 to $29 for a whole case. I don't know how much is in a case, but it's a lot. Now it's $65 for a case. So you're like, oh, it's $1 a wing, $1.29 a wing when you go buy them, and it's like, it's a little pricey, but I love chicken wings.
I raise my own. I just raise my own. I keep chickens in the apartment.
There you go.
Hey,
And then
you want chicken tonight? Okay.
you get 2 wings.
Yeah, that's how you get 2
I
wings.
tell my wife, I go, put your Hooters shirt on. Right?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Big Z, and that's news to me. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. So do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Welcome back to the TCSF podcast with E-Roc and Big Z.
Oh, yeah.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're in studio with Ken Garr. Again, thank you so much for being here. We just talked a little bit about your special American Hero on Amazon Prime. Tell us about like how that came about. I mean, like how long did you prep for that show, and like specifically the national anthem? I really want to ask about that. So for those of you who don't know who, I think when the special came out, I don't remember it being included, and it came out afterwards. It was Jim Cornelison.
The man.
Like
Yeah.
all 8'7" of him on stage. You know, they had to rebuild the stage after he stood there. I mean, he just this massive dude.
I think he
singing
plays
the
Predator in the
national
movies.
anthem. I
He
think
probably is, yeah.
I mean, like that was like it was just such a shock. We knew like okay, we've met a lot of the
comedians.
No, the opening acts. So we met a lot of the opening acts before.
Yeah.
We did not know that was about to happen. Can you tell us like how that came about?
Yeah, so originally, so the special is called American Hero. I had the honor and privilege of going to entertain our troops in Iraq and Kuwait and in North Africa, and so I wanted to keep it that theme. And so I always, I was like, oh man, it'd be really cool if we just opened like with a Star Spangled Banner. And I'm like, maybe I can get Jim Cornelison to do it. And so I just emailed him. I told him what my idea was. I told him I've been over to support the troops. I come from 3 generations of firefighters. I'm a Southsider. And he was just like, yeah, I'm in. This sounds awesome. He's like, I want to do this. And so originally we were going to include it in the special itself. But, I think there was a little bit of, he represents the Blackhawks and he represents, that organization. So I think, me telling dick jokes for an hour, he didn't
might not go well with the Blackhawks.
Not in the current landscape.
I knew that, like, knowing my audience, I knew that they were going to lose their minds. I knew that they were, like, it was going to be the perfect tone setter for the night. And I was really, like, super honored to have him, and he did an incredible job. And it was just cool to meet him and take a picture. And I'm admittedly I'm a fair weather Blackhawks fan. I didn't jump on board until their first championship.
Likewise,
same.
My friends have like been on board since the blackout days. And and I didn't really start paying attention until they started winning. But there's nothing that is better in the world than a hockey playoff game.
Yeah.
Live hockey playoff is like
it's the I'll tell you, like it's the most tense sport because it's just nonstop, right?
Yeah.
Like football, you have breaks, you can gather yourself. Baseball, you're just like you get that built up anticipation, but you're just kind of like on pins and needles, like just all right, like something's gonna happen. I'm gonna have time to react.
You don't want to use the bathroom.
In hockey,
you can't.
You don't want to grab a beer. You just want to sit there and watch the game.
Yeah.
It just doesn't stop.
Yeah,
even if you're not a fan of hockey, if you get the chance to go to a hockey playoff game, I mean, it's just a different vibe.
The funny thing is that I was in the same boat as you. Was like I didn't pay attention until they started winning. So like 2009, I think I started watching a little bit. I still don't know most of the rules. I know like blue line and
icing.
That's
dude,
it.
Every time they're offsides, I'm like, why? Why are they offsides? Right. I feel like the refs just call it just to call it. Like,
it's like we haven't done anything in a while. Let's just call offsides.
Yeah.
You're like, why are you pointing out the one rule that I know? I know that's a bad thing. Stop doing the bad thing. But yeah, I mean, I remember being at I think it's called the Jet Public House or Jets Public House when they won that first title. Okay. And like it was like, well, I think my daughter was pretty young, and we just went over there, and it was just like people fucking like crying so hard, like their faces were turning red. A fucking guy on top of the thing, like just spraying champagne everywhere, like just people losing their minds and like hugging everyone they've ever met.
I have the most heartbreaking Blackhawks story you'll ever hear. So the Blackhawks are in the playoffs.
Which year do you know?
It was the first year they won.
Championship?
The first championship, I think it was like 06, I think, right?
No, 10.
10?
2010,
okay.
2015.
2010,
2013,
13, 15.
Please don't persecute me on it.
No.
This guy doesn't know shit. So,
no.
2010, they're in the playoffs. Mikey O calls me up and says, "Hey, we want to put you on a show at the Joe's on Wheat Street." I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm there." He's like, "All right, cool." My wife plans a trip to San Diego in the meantime, and she's like, "Oh, it's our anniversary, whatever it was." This is my first wife. We're divorced, and you'll know why. So
stay tuned.
I was like, I got this Mikey O show. She's like, we San Diego. I bought your work.
Yeah.
Like it was a birthday gift, I think. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking go to San Diego. I don't care. Like
you don't want to go to the zoo?
Yeah. She's like, well, I contacted all these comedy clubs and they'll give you spots. I'm like, oh, it was like she put
that's a lot of effort. Yeah,
a lot, dude. She had like a whole booklet.
She had a binder.
She had a binder.
Yeah, color coded.
Yeah. She's like, here's our flights and here's the hotel or Airbnb. And I go, okay. So
were you married to Leslie Knope?
Oh my God, right?
Oh boy.
So I call Mikey, hey man, I can't do the show. I'm really sorry. He's like, all right, no worries. He's like, I'll call up Alex Ortiz, blah, blah, blah. So he gets Alex Ortiz. And so I'm in San Diego and we're watching the Blackhawks and they win the championship.
Yep.
And that night, Alex Ortiz changes his Facebook picture to holding the Stanley Cup
Above his
head at Joe's on Weed Street, where is exactly where I was supposed to be standing. Taze is there, Kane is there, all the Blackhawks are there. It was the first bar they went to after they won the championship was Joe's on Weed Street at the Mikey O show.
That is nuts.
And he's literally the comedian that replaced me, holding the Stanley Cup. And I looked at my wife and I was like, I want a divorce. I don't want to be with you anymore. I was so resentful of that for so long.
You did this to me.
Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. That Alex, I think to this day has that as
That was a Sunday show, am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
it was
so
a Sunday. Always a Sunday.
I was at the old DeVille right there on Damon and what is that, Huron, and it's I'm a teacher, so I'm like getting ready and I'm winding down. I get a text, whatever. I get another text, whatever. Then I get a phone call, and I see it's one of my buddies. He's like,
What happened?
"Get your ass to the bar now." I'm like, "Dude, I got work tomorrow." He's like, "Get your ass. The cup is here." I'm like, "What cup?"
The cup of Christ.
Right, like I already went
You're
to church.
a true Blackhawks fan. In the city of
So he's like,
Chicago.
"No, get your ass here." Sure enough, I'm running down the street, and it's you don't really run.
No.
And so I get to the bar, and no players were there, but you had the big guy in the big suit with the case, and the cup is there, and I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
They're like, "You cannot lift it." I'm like, "Motherfucker, that's all I want to do."
Right.
Yeah, he's like, "Can I pour beer in and drink out of it?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "What can I do?" He's like, "You can touch it." So I pretended to kiss it, and that's my picture.
Like $1 to look at it.
Yeah, but like
$2 to touch it.
it was weird because it's like you said, it's like you miss an opportunity just by saying no to something.
Yeah.
And it can change your entire life.
Oh my God. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna write a movie about how that just changed everything. Because like a year later we're divorced and like completely.
Who's gonna play? Are you gonna play yourself, or who you gonna have
of course.
someone? Okay, there we go.
Yeah, dude. Like
I'll put a wig on.
Yeah. Hey,
I had hair back then.
hey, if you hit up Netflix, they'll just give you an animated show all about your background.
I know, right?
Hey,
Hey, so let's talk about that a little bit, man. What are your? Are you from Chicago initially, and then what did your parents do?
Yeah, so I grew up on the south side of Chicago. Grew up at like around 87th in California.
Okay.
I went to public school. My dad. I come from 3 generations of firefighters. My grandfather, my father, all my brothers. My mom was a homemaker, and she eventually went back to school, got her degree. She was a social worker for many years after that. And went to St. Rita High School and Catholic League. And then I lived in Chicago up until about 8 years ago. I had a full-time job, and I was doing stand-up just on the weekends and stuff. And then I just decided, like, you know what? I want to give this a shot. I want to go full-time. I actually I hate to keep bringing him up, but he's, Mikey O. I call Mikey O, but I was like, hey,
definitely.
man, I'm thinking about moving downtown. You're like, where's a good spot to live in? Because I wanted to do, he's like, well, what's going on? I'm like, well, I'm quitting my job. I'm going to do stand-up full-time. He's like, dude, don't stay here. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you've accomplished everything you can accomplish in Chicago.
Yeah, you hit the ceiling.
It's a great city to learn to do stand-up, and it's a great city to like, but there was nobody here that could like get me to that next level.
Right.
He's like, so go to LA, go to New York. He's like, you're done here. He's like, I'm like, all right. So I went to LA. And I went to LA for like 2 weeks, and I was going to go to New York for 2 weeks, and I was going to figure out where I want to live. And I went to LA for 2 weeks, and it's like, 85, sunny,
Beautiful weather.
just women.
Yeah.
I was like, this is where I want to be. I want to go fucking live in New York, where it's 4 degrees half the year. And
Yeah. Shout out to Anthony Fuentes there.
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
I'm walking here.
Yeah. I'm from New York. I know, Anthony.
Yeah, I know.
So wait, so you tell me all of these firefighters, and you say, Dad, I'm going to be a comedian. How'd
that go?
Dude, I went. So my dad used to take me to work with him, and like the first time I went to a fire with them, the smoke hit my face, and I was like, I'm going to college, dude. This ain't for me, man.
This is not for me.
Honest to God, dude. I was like, nope, this ain't for me. And what happened was it was a timing thing. So even if I wanted to be a firefighter, the test came out. They only come out like every 10 years, and I was 17 when it came out. So I missed it by a year.
Yeah.
And so when I was 27, my brother, who's a firefighter, sent it to me. I was like, dude, I'm already not a firefighter.
I've been eating chicken wings at Hooters.
Yeah, I've been eating horrible wings, but yeah. So it kind of just passed. The window passed, but I couldn't be happier with the life I have.
So what? Talk about your starting comedy. Like, what made you like?
I mean, it sounds like you made the right choice.
You made the
Yeah.
right choice, but like, how do you like, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna be a firefighter. I'm gonna pursue comedy. Like, how did you come to that conclusion?
So I go to college. I go to University of Iowa. I leave college. I go down to Florida for a little bit to work for this .com. Didn't pan out. I come back, and my friend started taking classes at Second City. And she's like, "You got to do this." And I was like, "Nah." I was like, in your 20s, you're like just trying to like get laid and be cool, and
Right.
like, and so
You're like, I didn't either.
yeah. Yeah. And so I was like, I don't want to do that. And then all of a sudden I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And I loved it. I started taking classes at Second City. And then I met the guys that were in Tony and Tina's Wedding, which is
Right.
like a Chicago staple
It
for many
is.
years. And they're like, hey, man, we're going to go do stand-up across the street at this rugby bar. And I was like, all right, that sounds cool.
That's a rough crowd.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I might know that place.
The
It's
rugby
closed
bar?
now, but
There was a place called Globe Pub that used to do open
Globe
mics.
is open.
Yeah.
The Globe is open.
Yeah.
I remember going to see open mics. Like
The Globe is still open, wasn't it?
Globe, this was a different one, but I know
that's
Globe.
that's a soccer place. That's
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Globe is soccer. Yeah, they did the fire.
It's a cool place.
They did Chicago fire
It's a
stuff.
cool old school place. Yeah, nobody does Chicago. Nobody cares about that shit.
But I started doing open mics, and I caught the bug. I graduated from Second City. Never did improv ever again. But at that point, I just was starting to do stand up. I never had an intention of doing stand up full time. I told my first wife, I'm like, no, I don't want that life. Like that. I don't want to be broke and sleeping on futons and shit. And then all of a sudden, I just got better at it, and I loved it, and I hated my day job. It's kind of a weird life, man. When you're like, you like spend a weekend opening for like Charlie Murphy, and then like all of a sudden on Monday you're like taking a train to your office job. I was like, oh man, I gotta.
And nobody at work knows that you opened for Charlie
They all
Murphy.
did, yeah.
Oh, they
yeah,
did?
Yeah, yeah.
Or did you tell everybody, like, I'm opening for
Because
Charlie
I was like, that was all I wanted to talk about.
Right.
Yeah.
All I wanted to talk about was stand up, and all I wanted to do was stand up, And then it finally got to the point where I was a managing director at NASDAQ, and I was making tons of money, 6-figure income. I'm rubbing elbows with CEOs, CFOs, and I was miserable, and I didn't want to do it, man. I just kept everything kept pointing to doing stand up full time, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it for a year. I'm gonna leave this. At least if I quit for a year, I can come back and be like, hey, I got this great story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And 8 years later, I got a special. I've traveled the world. I've entertained thousands of people. And it's been-
So you got your start in Second City, and you mentioned that you just veered off of improv, never really did it again. Why didn't you continue down that road at all?
Because I wasn't good. I wasn't that good, man. Because the more classes that you take at Second City, it's like it's like the cream rises to the top, right?
Yeah.
And so once I got into the conservatory, it took Chris Farley 5 auditions to get into the conservatory, is what I've heard.
Well, that and a nickel get you a hot cup of Jack Squad.
It took me 2. And so
Wow.
And so for me, it's not that I'm funnier than Chris Farley. Give me a break. But, that's how hard and competitive it is to get into that program. But once I got there, it was so apparent that this is a certain muscle that they knew and they had. You know what I'm saying? Like to create characters and to to build sketches.
Park District softball versus
Right?
travel
Yeah,
softball.
yeah. It's for me, and I love the idea of doing stand up because it's like you versus the audience.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You don't have to rely on other people.
No, you don't.
You know what I mean? You don't like they wanted me to keep playing the straight guy or keep playing like the deadpan guy. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I just want to be funny.
Yeah.
And so you, as a comedian, very quickly. Now, what I do is I encourage every comedian to take improv classes because you're going to use it. You got to deal with hecklers. You got to read audiences. You got to come up with shit off the top of your head.
Also, if you're hosting, you have to,
Right,
you got to be
you're
very
hosting,
quick.
Yeah. So it's a great skill to learn, but I just knew at the end of it that it wasn't for me.
Do you remember your first set, like your first open mic? Like, what was your set? Like, did you have already a plan? Like, I'm gonna tell this joke and this joke, or did you just went up there and winged it?
No, I'm a huge planner. I plan everything in my life out, and so I was late getting here, and I was texting you, I'm like, I gotta get for gas, and threw off my whole day. You know what I mean? But for me, I have my very first set on tape.
Oh wow!
On VHS tape. And I'm wearing khakis. I'm wearing a button down. I printed out all my jokes on a piece of paper. I had 30 friends in the crowd. because I knew like if these jokes don't work, I can just start making fun of my friends.
Yeah,
You
a
know
good
what I
backup
mean?
plan. Great backup plan.
I had a great black, and so, but I had written it out, and I watch it now. It's like you cringe.
Yeah,
you know, like
sounded like we listen to our own show. Like, oh God, it was bad.
Don't
worst.
listen to episode 1.
Shut up.
It was that bad, huh?
Yes. Oh,
Call back, baby.
yeah.
yeah, but episode 1, the Cubs are still good though, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's
That's how
what they're
long
like.
ago it
Yeah.
was.
Oh yeah, trust me. So like, but aside from yourself, I
Yeah.
want you to give some props. So who's your favorite local comedian right now in Chicago?
My favorite.
I know you
local-
don't. I know you don't live here now.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
I mean, I was at the Laugh Factory like last night and watched Calvin Evans.
okay.
This dude, and Calvin and I had worked together at the Chicago Improv. He was the host and I was featuring, and I had to work all weekend hard, to follow him. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Calvin. He's absolutely hands down one of the funniest dudes in Chicago right now. T. Murph, he's got a show I think on Peacock now.
Okay.
Or I think actually it's Hulu, but he's absolutely hilarious. Jeannie Dugan,
Yeah, you met Jeannie.
She was my host for my special.
Yeah.
She's absolutely hilarious. Southsider. And she's just phenomenal. Gwen LaRocca.
Yes.
Gwen is like,
Yes.
We have a lot of I have a lot of friends in common with her.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gwen is like one of the most talented people I've ever
Yes.
met. And I'm just like,
She just did a one-woman show.
I know, and
Yeah.
I always like I'll text her like once a month. I'm like, when you get your television show, please let me write for you, please. Like
Yeah.
let me just hang
Yeah.
on to your coattails because
Yeah.
she is going to be a huge star.
Oh yeah, she's on her
and
way.
you can just tell, man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You watch these people, and you're like, you got it. But I love the Chicago comedy scene. Joey V. I mean, I know you asked for one, but like,
No,
there's just so
Joey
many
V,
good
I-
ones.
I
No,
love
it's
Joey.
fine. Yeah, we love Joey V.
That little gravelly voice, and every time you ever notice
Yeah.
these guys wear the weird hat? Yeah,
Dude, every
he's
time I see him
hilarious.
sitting on a stool, I'm like, get your knee fixed, motherfucker. I'll pay for it,
we
dude.
keep telling him, hey, come to the
Yeah.
show. He goes, oh, my knee, it still hurts.
Yeah,
I don't know.
can't
I don't know what to do.
I can't do the stairs. How many stairs you got?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I was
That's
like, bro, I will carry you.
yeah, he's a big guy. He got big calves. He just jump on his back. He'll walk you down here.
You know who? I think that the first time I had seen him was that opening for you on that show was Avi Sanchez. Man, he is
Another dude.
Abby's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, it's another one. I mean, there's just so many, dude. Abby, I've seen Abby since like day one.
Yeah.
And to see him grow into like HBO Latino special
Yeah.
and like, I mean, I'm so proud of all these guys because like, for a long time it was like, well, Chicago's great, but like there's no, you can't really get any opportunities. Well,
Look at this.
Joey V worked with Bill Burr, and
Yep.
Abby's on HBO, Gwen's on HBO. I mean,
Hey, again, Mikey O.
Honest to God, Mikey O pushed it
drives
off.
that fucking bus, man.
absolutely, and Curtis at the Laugh Factory.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Those two guys have single-handedly turned around the comedy scene here, at least for stand-up in Chicago.
And it's amazing because I know that there was a time where it was extremely competitive to the point where you wouldn't help anyone out. You were just like, well, no, sucks you got lost along the way, instead of, hey, man, look, hey, I got a spot here, I'll help you out. It's weird from the stories that, even listening to the Marin and all of the stories from way back when, and everyone was just trying to step on top of each other. Now you have enough platforms where everyone can get a piece of the pie.
And it used to be like, hey, you can play this club but not that club. You can do this club.
Yeah.
You can do the improv but not zanies. And Mikey O was like, I want you to get better as a comedian.
Yep.
So you play wherever you need to play.
Yep.
We don't have a contract. Go do your thing. And then with Mikey O, it was like every time you do a show, 400 people showed up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so
Every
now you're
time.
like learning how to like kill in front of big crowds,
Yep.
and like you're like, you're getting less and less nervous because you're figuring out how to work a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just for comedy, it's about not only just experience, but it's just this comfort level of
Yes.
like, hey, that gives you the confidence to go, I own this crowd right now.
The 2 minutes that we were on stage when we were helping to pass out those prizes for the CPD nights, I'm sitting there and my heart is just like, why are you up here? Why are you up here? Why are you up here? Get down. They're all looking at you. Get the fuck out of here. The whole rip. And then like I'm on the mic and my fucking hand is shaking like a Michael J. Fox. And it's like, it was a mess.
Oh, my buddy is a plumber, and he's like, man, anybody can do what you do.
Yeah.
I go,
Nope.
bro.
Nope.
I go, I can go to plumbing school for 2 years and
Yeah.
come out a decent plumber. I go, ain't no way you can come and do what I do.
The one thing that we did with them that was really in my comfort zone is when we did the Cops versus Comedians charity softball game, and we were on the mic, and I was just tearing people apart. I was like,
so we,
hey, there's number 7. Who's that? Who the fuck cares? Let's get
we go to Mikey like, all right, so we're gonna set up, and you want us to play by play, or is anything off limits? Can we rip up? He's like, go ham.
Yeah.
No restrictions. We're like, okay.
Yeah.
There's this big dude with donuts. He's trying to bribe the police officers. Great idea.
Yeah.
And then Anthony Fuentes is running down first base, losing his pants.
No, that was a again, Mikey O. I mean,
That was a year ago. I think yesterday.
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. It just came up on the memory, so it was a really cool thing. So, let me ask you. I mean, I'm gonna go through your progression from starting 8 years ago to where you are now, meeting a lot of people in LA. Who's been your favorite person to work with out in LA?
God, again, there's just so many, right? But you know, I've had the opportunity to share stages with guys like Adam Sandler and Bill Burr, Burt Kreischer. I've opened for Sebastian.
Wow.
You know, who's another Chicago guy.
That one, yep.
It's crazy. Like for me, going to LA wasn't just about like, oh, I want to be famous, I want to be rich. It was just like, can I hold my own against the best in the world?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As a comedian, at some point, you got to be like, can I do this? You know, and not just at like a local level.
No,
like,
you're proving it to yourself,
Right.
Because otherwise, how do you continue?
Yeah. And so for me, it's like just this opportunity to go out and work with these tremendously talented people, and to be able to, you know, and what's crazy is like, you grew up watching a lot of these people.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler, like
Yeah.
David Spade, I opened, with for,
shit.
Didn't
They just do something together, like Adam Sandler, David Spade, like it might have
19 movies, bro.
No. No, they just did like a comedy thing when Adam Sandler doesn't do comedy as much. Like I think it was like a bunch of them, and I think it was at the Comedy Store where they showed up, like 4 or 5 of the guys, that clique.
Yeah.
So they were all there. So it's like it's not really known for them to do that where
Right.
they just go live and go ham. I mean, Adam Sandler is a movie guy at this point. He's
Yeah.
a producer at this point. He's not really doing
But he did a Netflix special last year,
right.
doing stand up.
Yeah, and that's a rare thing to see.
Yeah, but what's crazy is like he'll just pop in, and you're like, oh, hey, what's up, Adam? Hey, what's going on? Can I go up? Yeah.
Yeah,
like
of course.
I hosted the open mic at the Hollywood Improv for like 4 years.
Oh, shit.
And Nick Swartzen walked in. Can I get some time, man? I go, Jeffrey Ross had come in. Hey, man, Tiffany Haddish.
yeah, really?
They'd all come in. Hey, can I pop in? Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Nick
right.
Swartzen, bro.
Right.
Yeah. I'd love to have you on my open mic.
Right,
you know?
right.
But you know what, though? It gives you this idea of like, it's like just being like an athlete.
Yeah.
Like just shooting 1,000 free throws a day.
But you know what?
hitting
Also,
the batting
too,
cages.
when I hear you talk about people who have names show up and say, "Hey, can I get a spot?" It's showing respect for what
Yeah,
you're doing as well. You know, what I mean? It's like,
absolutely.
hey, like
Because you're gonna bump
I don't wanna
somebody.
bump somebody, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so
Chappelle, I've watched for hours.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Just out there, just figuring it out, just
Yes.
talking. You know what I mean? For hours at a time.
He does. Yeah, you get it, like you said, it's repetition. Like, okay, let me see what works, what doesn't work, and then
And I started with Hannibal, like years ago,
Yeah.
with Hannibal Buress.
he
And-
bowls at Diversity.
Bro, yeah. And he one night he came out, like just jumped in and was just working on some new stuff, having fun. And this guy starts heckling him. He's like, I thought you were supposed to be funny. He goes, bro, this is batting practice for me. He goes, I'm just practicing singles right now. He goes, trust me, any moment I want, I can start hitting them out of the park.
You know what's funny is that I actually saw. I think it was like one of those Comedy Central 30-minute specials. They used to show all the time, which I would just sit there and watch hours and hours and hours of this, and I couldn't get enough of it.
Get a job.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I was like 16. You know what I mean? I come home, it's like, yeah,
Still, should have had a job.
yeah, okay.
I was working at Rainbow Cone, bro.
Oh wow! But I remember watching Dion Cole on stage.
Yeah.
Read his notebook and then look around, back and forth. You see him scan the crowd, and you're like, okay, that was a good one. And he checks it off.
Yeah.
He literally
He's
did that in
literally
his
showing that he's
on his
doing-
last comedy show. He
It
did
was
that.
Awesome.
He's like, I'm gonna tell some jokes. It's towards the end of the comedy special. He's like, I'm gonna tell some. opens it up just like you said.
Yep.
That's his thing. He's like, all right, well, that one worked. All right, we'll keep it out. Oh shit. That
Sometimes
didn't
you'll lick the end of the pencil. Like,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was out one night. I was I was doing a show one night, and Dion was on the lineup.
Wow.
And we both walked out at the same time, and the valet pulled our cars up at the same time. His is a Bentley, and I had a Civic. And I look at him. I go, is it the Civic yours, or is it? And he just started laughing. Were you? Is the Civic? No. Okay. Oh,
okay.
you're the Bentley. Got it. Yeah.
Oh man, that's fantastic. So look, we talked about all three of these guys on the show, and in the last year or so, there's been three big losses: Bob Saget, Louis Anderson, and Gilbert Gottfried. Did you have any interaction with them at all? And do you like me? I'm sure you watch a ton of comedy. You have watched. I mean, like, can you pick out specific moments from them that you remember that kind of like, oh yeah, I should, that's a cool thing, and that's a trick, or that's a whatever.
Louis Anderson. So I grew up watching Johnny Carson.
Yes.
My mom and dad they knew. They just knew. Like, they knew I loved stand-up.
Yeah.
And so they would let me stay up until the point that the stand-ups performed on Johnny Carson. And Louis Anderson was one of the first people I remember on Johnny Carson. And he was one of the guys that we quoted as a family.
Okay.
Because he had that bit about being... put your big boy pants on.
Yes.
Get your big boy pants on. And that became like a thing that we said as like in our family.
That's
like,
awesome.
Come upstairs right now. Get your big boy pants on. And so then, I would go to the Comedy Store every Monday. They have like the open mic on, and you'd wait in line with 100 people hoping to get up. And then, Louis would drop in. But, a lot of my friends opened for him in Vegas, and they just talked about how generous he was with his time, with his money, you could crash at his house.
Wow.
And I was talking to some comedian friends of mine, like, similar to like coming from 3 generations of firefighters. Like, it's a small community. There's hundreds of comedians, but at the same time, it's a small community. And so we have this bond, that like we're all in this kind of
Like
together.
I've been where you've been.
Yeah,
at. So you know what? Let me throw you a little bone and then help you out.
Every opportunity I've gotten in stand-up was provided by another comedian for the most part. You know what I mean? It's because they've opened the doors for me.
Right.
And so, and then with Bob Saget, I met him briefly in the green room of a show one time, and I was a little starstruck.
Yeah.
But
America's Dad.
Again, could not have been more polite, could not have been nicer. I mean, he just was, very generous with his time.
He seemed like, I think when we don't get to look at the background life of a lot of comics, and with him, we saw, especially when he passed away, his life outside of comedy and how much he just loved being a comic. Like, he just loved it. Where he was just like, it was just like the only, you could see it. And they talked about, like, even when he was doing Full House, he's like, I appreciate the paycheck. This job kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And then when you saw him show up in Half Baked, and you're like, yeah, ever suck dick for weed? Like, I was like, oh shit,
yeah,
you're fucking like, that's my comedy.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, I fell in love with him and the way that he did his act, especially, being famous off of the back of Full House, right?
Yeah.
So that was a really kind of cool thing to be able to witness.
It's I don't know, man. It's like I do that joke. I go where I'm, I'm literally one of the funniest people in the world, and people kind of like roll their eyes or whatever. But it's like there's 7 billion people on the planet, and there's only about 500 comics. So when you think about it in that scale,
you're
you know what I'm
top
saying?
echelon.
Like, and again, but I'm not any funnier than the other 400 that do this professionally. There's some people that I absolutely am in awe of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it is a club of like people that are like putting themselves out there day in, day out. It's not this like amazing, crazy, awesome life. It's like it's driving 6 hours to up to Minnesota in the middle of a blizzard for $200. It's, you know what I mean? Like it's just like anything else. And
it's a grind.
And not to make like a segue, but like it's just like hitting the minor leagues for years, and then you
get the call up.
You get the call up, and now all of a sudden then now there's that pressure to stay up there.
Yes.
We saw with your mean Mercedes, right?
Yeah.
The guy comes out, hits 8 hits in a row, hasn't been done in 100 years, and now like 2 years later he's on a different ball club. So
yeah. So is there anybody that you like looking forward into your comedic career that you would want to work with?
I love comedy so much. I like working with Sebastian for a weekend was an absolute treat. And again, like we're sitting in the green room, and I'm just like, you know, you try to be professional, respect their space and stuff. But he's sitting there going like listening to a recording of a set that he had done 2 years earlier because there was a bit about a restaurant and he thought he was going to try it out tonight. You know what I'm saying? But like for him, it's like it's always work. You know what I mean? And every time I watch these guys and I see Sebastian, how he controls his face and his movements and his arms and his, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's right. Like that's part of this experience. You know, it's like what, how,
It's
you know, where am I going to go?
Act.
Yeah.
Right? And it's funny enough, I was going to ask you guys is, you know, a lot of his movements and his mannerisms are very intentional seeming, you know
completely.
what I mean?
Yeah. And then I you know, and I don't want to get like into controversy, but like I watched Louis C.K. a couple of weeks ago, and this
Great
is
comic.
And I'm sitting there in a booth with Louis C.K. and I'm watching Dane Cook, and it's like,
wow,
what a surreal life I live. And Louis is leaning over to me and is like, oh, he's got the, because what had happened that night was Dane didn't watch the show. He showed up, he did a spot, but he did a bit that was very similar to a previous comedian's, and so the audience is looking around, going like, we've heard this bit before.
Right.
And Dane is so experienced that he picked up on it real quick and then changed directions on the joke. And you know what I mean? Got into another joke.
Yeah.
And Louis pointed it out. So I'm sitting there like talking to like Louis C.K. about, but it's all comedy. All we do is we talk about comedy inside and out. You know what I'm saying? So like, just like whether you're a baseball player, basketball player, like this is our life and this is what we do.
Right.
And we spend hours on it. Just, you know, passionate about it.
Well, yeah, it's like you're sharpening your knife there, and you're always going to continue to do that.
Yeah.
So you're talking about someone almost
I make comedy sound so serious.
someone similar with a similar joke. Have you ever had a joke stolen?
Yes. Yeah, I've had jokes. I've had you like to give people the benefit of the doubt. And so I can't say if it's been stolen or if it's just been a similar premise. But it's funny because a buddy of mine had a joke stolen. He's 6'9", about 350 pounds. And he called the dude up. And he's like, yeah, man, you're doing my joke. I ain't doing your joke. I don't think he knew how big he was. Like, why don't we get together and meet? And talk about he just saw this towering figure. He's like, oh, yeah, you know what? Maybe I bought that joke. And so somebody, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's so funny, dude. But yeah, I've heard some of my jokes be told on SNL.
Wow.
You know, and I'm just like, oh, that's that. And like literally my phone's blowing up. Like, dude, they just did your joke on SNL. You know, but imagine you're a writer on SNL and you got to come up with like hundreds of jokes every week. It's like, I'm not saying that they stole it, but it's just like,
if it's a topical thing, you might have the same opinion on it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know,
But it was
No, because I asked about stealing jokes. You got the Carlos Mencia with Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And it happens more often to, like, let's say an opener.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the guy is just starting. He's nobody. You know, I'm Dana Carvey.
Yeah.
I'm just going to, I'll take that little bit here.
There's this funny story about Robert Schimmel who passed away, but he opened for Joan Rivers and he had a really funny joke. And she's like, that's a great joke. She goes, I'll give you $25 for it. And he's just like, no, that's my joke. And she walks out of the room and his buddy goes, you should have taken the $25. And the next night she did that joke on the Tonight Show.
Right.
Yeah. He's like, you just lost $25. She's going to take it anyways.
Yeah.
Because the rule has always been the first to get it on television wins.
Right.
Like that was the rule.
Because it's recorded, so now it's their joke.
It's
Right.
their joke, you know? And anybody going like, that's my joke. But one time I had a guy reach out to me and he's just like, hey, you know, you and I have a similar joke. It was about nose hair. You pull the nose, you know, you pull out a nose hair and piece of brain attached to it. You know? This kid hit me up and he's just like, yeah, you're doing my joke, da da da. And I just pulled the tape from like 2006.
Yeah.
I was like, here, I've been doing this in 2000. He's like, and he hadn't started comedy until 2012. So I was like, well, okay. He's like, can I do the joke? I'm like, no.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is that if you come up with something organically and you find out that someone, you know what I mean? It was something that I forget exactly what it was. It was a phrase I used to say all the time. And then, the phrase was, when I was 18, my father was an idiot. When I turned 21, I realized he's a genius.
Yeah.
And then like 10 years later, I'm reading some Mark Twain and it was something very similar, but like very Mark Twain-y. I was like, fuck you.
You thought it up?
I did. Like it was something just in my head because I remember being 18 and they're like, yeah, you're a dick. You don't know shit. And I'm like, oh, you know a lot.
Yeah. But I mean, we're all experiencing the same life, right?
Yeah,
so
yes.
there's a lot of parallel thinking out there. And so a lot of times you just give people the benefit of the doubt. I don't get caught up in that, man. Like I try to write jokes that are so unique to me, like the Special Olympics joke.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no other comics been in Special Olympics.
Please watch the comedy special. You will be crying at the end of that joke.
So, I just try to write stuff that's unique to me, and that way nobody can steal it.
Yeah. Because it's your experience, right?
Ken Garr was in the Special Olympics, not you. You can't take that joke. That's Ken Garr's joke,
So, you mentioned SNL, and that's a trigger point for me because I am a ridiculous SNL fan. I watch every episode. I try to go back and watch old episodes. You saw my bookcase full
Eddie, when do you work, bro?
I don't.
All right, you play softball and watch comedy.
I don't play softball. I just sit there and point at
He watches.
I point at children. Do the thing that I can't do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I've always been a huge. It comes down to Comedy Central. They do just reruns and you're just watching that stuff. So, it's getting to a point where a lot of people are like, it's too old. It's got to go. Lorne is on his way out. Everyone thinks that Keenan is going to take over. What is your take on the current
controversy
state of SNL?
I hadn't heard that. I mean, I can't really dog SNL because 5 of my friends are on it right now.
Who do you got?
Well, actually, Melissa Villaseñor is now
She just
leaving.
left, yeah.
Chris Redd is a friend of mine from Chicago. Great comic.
I love him.
Who else? Aristotle just left.
Yeah,
he did just 1 year.
He was funny.
Yeah.
He
was
had
funny.
these he did a lot of very unique bits where you didn't see on SNL, where in the first minute and a half, you're just kind of looking like, what is happening? By the end, you're like, holy fuck, that just happened.
Yeah.
Like, it was so cool.
Leslie Jones, not a friend, but
Right.
you just know these people. I did roast battle one night in the Comedy Store.
Yes.
I looked up and the cast of Saturday Night Live was there, and luckily I won that night. And I hadn't noticed them until after roast battle was over. But for people that don't know, you battle another comic. It's just like, it used to be like the old school Yo Mama jokes, you know. But like you make it about them. But yeah, it was insane. But I love SNL. I think it is an important media tool for what's going on in America. So I think
Very
whether
much
it's
so.
good or bad,
Yes.
I think that it's necessary
Yeah.
because it is. For me, it's parody at its highest level, and it needs to be part of our culture.
It brings brevity to like some of the most serious situations that
Yeah.
we're facing. We're like,
That episode after 9/11
Yes.
where Rudy came out, can we laugh now? He's like, why start now? And love the hate the guy, I love that, whatever. He's changed a lot. But that was a great moment.
that was a good moment.
There's been so many great moments on Saturday Night Live, and I think it's just part of our fabric as a society, and I think it needs to stay there. Could it get better? Maybe, yeah, absolutely. But I think that I think people have just maybe raised the bar a little bit too high as well.
Yeah.
And I think that I think that one of the problems is that we're trying to comedy in general, just not in SNL. I just had a guy, I do a joke about Plan B, the Plan B pill. He's like,
Oh, God.
he put a comment, he's like, not funny. There's nothing. And I'm like, dude, don't take, it's just a joke.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think everyone now, because of Twitter and Instagram, everyone's Facebook, everyone's got a fucking opinion.
Yeah, they think their opinion's the only one.
And they think their own opinion. And if you don't agree with it, it's like, dude, it's just a joke.
You know what?
Like-
it's really the biggest effect is they're trying. They've never hidden the fact of how political they are, and you can see which way they lean. And if
SNL,
yes,
yeah.
And if you don't agree with that leaning, it doesn't matter what they say.
Yeah.
They're terrible. They're not funny because they made fun of the guy that I like. I didn't pay attention to any of the rest of the show.
Right.
Except for that one thing that I didn't like, so I don't like any of it.
Yeah.
There's no real concept or context that they're taking into it, and they have no idea what's going on. And it's just like music. You're like, what are this crap they listen to? I was like, hey, they used to say that about your music, dude. Like, you just you stopped keeping up with it, so it didn't.
Right.
It's no longer familiar to you, and I don't like that.
But everyone's got a mouthpiece now.
Oh, yeah.
Before, it's just, then don't watch it.
Right.
Yeah.
Turn
Don't
it off,
yeah,
man.
Exactly.
Go watch reruns of The Honeymooners. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But now it's especially just releasing a special. And I look at the comments. A lot of times I'll post them on my Instagram, even if they're terrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just wasted 50 minutes of my life. And I just be like, I just got 50 minutes of this dude's life. Like, hilarious. I own you, bro. But for me, it's like, then just, and I always take the high road. Hey, man, thanks for at least checking it out.
Yes, 100%.
You know what I mean? I appreciate you.
It makes them feel
taking it out.
worse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, oh my
They're
God, he
they
actually
want you to
contacted me.
respond,
Yeah.
But comedy is subjective, man. You're
It
gonna
is.
like it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna like it. You know what I'm saying? And so it's no skin off my back, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so Ken, what advice would you give someone that wants to pursue a career in comedy?
Don't do it. I have enough competition right now.
You'd be like 501? No.
Go coach softball.
Oh, For once, you're getting roasted.
I think there's too much Cub stuff in here. I know what's happening.
It's cliche. It is, but it's just go out and do it. I met those guys from Tony and Tina's wedding. I've always wanted to try stand-up. I didn't have the nerve or the balls to do it. A friend of mine started doing stand-up. I went and watched her one night. Denise Ramsden, very funny Chicago comedian. And I'm like, maybe I can do this. And I wrote a bunch of stuff down, and I invited 30 of my friends out, and I did it. And, I wasn't great my first night.
Of course
but
not.
I was good enough to go, oh, maybe I can try this again.
Yeah.
And that's it, man. And so what I do, just like any other thing that you're going to take on, like go full bore. You know what I mean?
Just
like,
jump in the deep end and just do it.
Jump in, man. So like, if you're gonna be a comedian, like, write every day, challenge yourself to do as many open mics as possible, and and then also study it. Watch the greats.
Yes.
Watch the people, because when you first start doing stand-up, you're basically you're gonna replicate the people that you're drawn
Correct.
to. You know what I'm saying? And
Pryor did that with Cosby.
right. And if you listen to Eddie Murphy and Pryor,
Yeah,
Yeah.
very
Eddie
similar.
Murphy,
Yes.
Eddie borrowed a lot from
Yes.
Pryor. So, and a lot of people took from George Carlin. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He introduced an entirely different style.
Yes.
Yes.
So for me, it's like if you're new and you're getting into comedy, go to as many open mics as possible. But also, and this is the mistake that I made,
Okay.
is because I had never intended to be a full-time comedian. So like I didn't hit 2-3 open mics a night. Meanwhile, Hannibal was, TJ Miller was, Beth Stelling
Miller.
was, right? Like,
Miller.
you know what I'm saying? So like these guys are out there hustling every night, and I'm just like, just do it for fun, drink some beers, But if you're gonna do it, do it. Take as many improv classes as you can. If there's a stand-up class out there, take it. A lot of people, oh man, why would you take a stand-up class? Like, because it forces you to write. It gives you homework
structure.
assignments. It gives you structure.
Yeah.
It gives you stage time. It gives you, you know what I'm saying? So just like any other job, like you go to the fire academy for a couple of years before you come out a firefighter, police academy,
Yep.
trade school, college. Like college is the open mics, and it's like writing every day, and it's studying the greats and trying to like be like them.
So you write? I'm sorry to cut you. You write every day, like
I-
based on everything that happens that one day.
Yeah, no, it's so like my whole thing is like so I try to write every day, but for me it's like I'll write down like I'll have like different writing prompts.
Okay.
So I'll go to like Barnes and Noble or even Amazon or whatever, and I'll just like get these writing prompts books. And what it does is it gets my brain moving. Tell us about a time you had summer vacation or your summer whatever. Oh yeah, Disney. I went to Disney when I was 12.
Triggering memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like it gives you like gets your brain moving in that direction, and then I try to write a couple monologue jokes every day about what's going on in the news. I'm not a topical comedian, but like, you never know. You know what I'm saying? You never know when some guy's like, hey, can you come write for the Tonight Show? It's like, yeah, man, here's 100 monologue jokes. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So for me, it's just like it's just working that thought process out. So now I just did a special, and now I'm done with that material. So that material was about going overseas to entertain the troops. It was about the pandemic. It was about getting divorced and dating and marrying my new wife.
Right.
And now it's like I'm a different person now.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. I've changed as an individual.
Got rid of that exterior, and it's
Right.
your new person.
And now
yeah.
it's time to peel back the
new layer.
onion,
Yeah.
and go, okay, well, how deeper can we get now? Because I don't want to tell those jokes anymore. So now I'm like, it's all new. Like tonight, I'm doing a show tonight, and I'm like, it's all new stuff.
Beautiful.
We will,
And
We'll be there.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
oh, you'll get to see me struggle.
You can always make fun of us.
That's true. Oh, yeah. Be like, so I went on this fucking podcast today.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I really want to ask you. We've said Mikey owes times enough on this show today that he only owes me money at this
Yeah,
point.
he owes us money. Yeah.
But
Mikey owes you money?
yeah. But I mean, like, aside from Mikey O, can you name like 2 or 3 people that have been really influential to help you like on your path to where you are now?
It's so strange, but my mentor is Brad Garrett from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, he's my mentor, and so I had the opportunity to work open for him many years ago at the Chicago Improv. We hit it off, and we kept in touch. He opened up a club in Las Vegas, and I performed there a couple of times a year now at the MGM Grand. And I've had the opportunity to work with him and open for him a couple of times. He's a buddy, but like a work buddy.
Yeah.
But, and you talk about those people that reach that level, like Adam Sandler and David Spade and these guys, so generous with his time, so generous with his knowledge. Anytime I have a question, hey man, I'm trying to do this. Like, oh yeah, I mean, he's made phone calls for me. He's put me in front of his acting coach. He's just like, and he's old school. He won the first Star Search ever. He opened for Sinatra. I mean, it's just like he epitomizes show business. But at the same time, it's just like he's on one of the biggest shows in the world, and then all of a sudden now he can't get work, and then he gets his own show. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I mean? It is a crazy roller coaster ride.
So is that something that you're like wanting to get into, some acting, or are you looking more to do writing?
No, I'm up for whatever. I just want to work. And I think in this day and age, it's like the power is really in the showrunner. You know what I mean? So it's the people that run the show, and you might write and star in your own show. I mean, that's the dream, right? The Ken Garr show or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But, for me, it's like I just want to create. I just want to work. Yeah. I produced my own special. I didn't wait for Netflix or Showtime or HBO. And it's not because I don't want to, I didn't have those opportunities. It's because I wanted to control my own destiny. I wanted to
control
be able
the
to
narrative, right?
I wanted to control the narrative. I didn't want them getting notes, and I didn't want them editing shit. I know a comedian, she just got an HBO special, and she hates it because they edited the shit out of it in a way that she didn't want it. So I own it. I shot it in one take. I didn't do multiple shows. That was it. Like that was it, man. And I got it out, and I own it, and I control it. And so for me, to answer your question, it's like, yeah, I'd love to write. Yeah, I'd love to be on a TV show. It's not that I don't have it's not that I have a specific goal. It's that I want to be in show business. Yeah. And so whatever that gig is, I've written for telethons where I'm working with Charlize Theron and Natalie Portman and Jane Fonda and like all these like huge people, and like that was the gig that week. And then you flip the calendar, next week I'm going to Dubai and Saudi Arabia. Yeah. And then the week after that I'm going to Vegas. And then the week, you know what I mean? So, and then the week after that I'm doing a small club for a few $100 in Arizona because that's just where the gig's at. You know what I'm saying?
It's just one of those things. That's where the life experience, the experiences in your life and the stories that you tell, and that's how you build up. I mean, I'm sure I got tons of stories that this guy's tired of listening to, but I mean, like I just as you do different things in your life, you feel like that is a unique experience to yourself, and that's where you're able to draw a lot of the stories and a lot of the jokes that you come up with. I mean, just because of those experiences.
And I tell every comedian, and that's another thing I would tell a lot of young comedians is like, yes, it's important to do open mics, just it's important to write every day, but like you got to write about something. Yeah. So go outside and experience life.
Yeah. Go out there and get exposed.
I told a friend, he's like, where you get all these great jokes? I go get dumped, motherfucker. Go get your heart broken.
Well, you think every time your dad comes in and he goes, have I got a story for you? That's him telling you. And if you make, even if you're just embellishing little things to make it funnier, that's the thing. Hey, this is the thing that
there's going to be some type of connection.
Right.
Yeah. I was at a restaurant or a Subway. I was like at a Subway the other day. This dude's like, how's your day going? It's going good. He goes, what'd you do today? I was like,
I'm at Subway.
I minded my own fucking business. That's what I did. But I'm like, but that happened. I'm like, I gotta write this down. Yeah. Like, it's like, but I'm like, what did I do today? Yeah. And I know he's just trying to like give good customer service.
Right.
But I'm just like, but you just like sit there and my wife and I will be like, we argue very rarely because we're newlyweds. But every once in a while we'll start arguing and I'll just pick up my phone and she goes, are you writing this down right now? Yeah, I'm at work right now.
Like, no, I'm recording it with my voice app, and I'm gonna write it later.
Yeah.
No, man. A weird thing. We were at Target yesterday, and we were toying with the idea. I'm trying to convince my wife that we need a new TV upstairs because it's not as big as the space that's upstairs, right? and I'm sitting there, so I'm probably not going to buy it at Target, but hey, look at that clear one. And this kid comes up and he goes, hey, can I help you with anything? I go, no, I'm just looking. He goes, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, that's your job. Why are you sorry? Like, it was fucking weird. Like, it's just, it's people learning to interact with one another again is odd. Especially
after a pandemic, dude, people don't know how to behave at all.
Nope, not at all.
I'm sorry for speaking, sir. Like, what the
they don't know how to. People have no idea how to behave. Even audiences at comedy shows, it's like, fucking just leave.
Yeah, we're gonna record. If that happens to us, we're recording that shit. I'm gonna pull out my phone and record it.
Yeah, please do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. More with Ken Garr right after these messages.
This is Enrique Calderon coming to you from True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast. Come check me out on social media, Enrique Calderon Official on Instagram and Facebook. checking us out.
Y te lo dice.
Enrique Calderon.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. So do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Hey, this is Mikey O, and you're listening to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast. Don't forget to visit Mikey O at Mikey O Show or www.MikeyOShow.com.
Welcome back to the TCSF podcast with E-Roc and Big Z, and today's guest, Ken Garr.
I want a nickname.
Yeah, K-Dog, I don't know.
K-Dog?
First of all, the guy who gave us these names would totally call you K-Dog if you
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
100%.
I like K-Dog.
He called me E-Roc and Big Z.
Why did he call you E-Roc? What is that? They just made that up?
Yeah, I
Can
mean,
I be-
because E.
Oh, can I be G-Spot?
That's hard.
They
That's
can't
where the
find
Sox
you.
Play.
Yeah, I can't find.
That's where the Sox play.
I gotta use 2 fingers.
Oh.
Dig deeper. All right, so, I mean, I already know the answer to this, but for the people out there listening, every guest that comes on gets the same question. Cubs or Sox?
White Sox.
Yeah.
I work for a living. I'm from the motherfucking South
Wait a
Side.
minute. So you're saying that Cubs fans don't work?
You guys are all like these white collar.
How do you go to a 1 o'clock game every day?
Go to a beer garden. It's just, dude, I've been to enough Cubs games. Come on.
The problem is the people you see at the Cubs games aren't Cubs fans. They're people like the party.
That's
The
what I'm
people,
saying.
the actual Cubs fans can't afford those fucking tickets. That's the difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
There-
I mean,
nah, there's some. I've got friends that are really diehard Cubs fans that are like really know the game, really love, But going to Wrigley, most of my experiences have been just kind of people that want to go get fucked up and party.
and it's fun.
yeah. Oh,
I mean, it is
dude,
fun.
a Cubs game's fun. They're awesome.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with the Cubs
yeah,
games.
Experience.
No, I mean,
And
like
certain Cub fans you just don't want to deal with.
we were talking before we started recording about Carlos Zambrano, who's been a guest on this podcast, and I had behind home plate like 8 rows up when he pitched a 3-game shutout or 3-hit shutout. And it was just as a baseball fan, you got to respect it, you know. But yeah, there's a lot of Cubs fans that I've only almost ever gotten into a fight at Wrigley Field, in a baseball setting. Like there's just people get mouthy and
Beer balls.
yeah, they do, and it's just it brings out a lot of douchey people. And,
Yeah.
but whatever. Plus, it's like I grew up hating the fucking Cubs.
Yeah.
I just. I did. I think it's always a jealous thing. I think as a White Sox fan, you can't just not be a little jealous.
Yeah. It's a little brother
We
complex.
Always, we
It
always
is.
talk about that, right? Like
Yeah.
some little brother syndrome. It's like, man,
Yeah.
how come they did this and how come they didn't do that? And I mean, it's just the funny thing is that I always talk about I never ever paid attention to baseball until the home run chase with Sosa and McGuire.
Oh, nice.
I did not. I mean,
Yeah.
like I was all Bears, all Bulls. I didn't
Okay.
care about baseball. I still, very mediocre. Might care for hockey, but I mean, like that's just what it was in my house. And the weird thing is that I don't know why. My father's from Jamaica. Why would he love American football? I think I was pretty young, Bears won the Super Bowl, so it was like, okay, well, we spend Sundays watching football, and I like.
Oh, yeah.
Even if there's other things that I have to do, I'm like, but the Bears is on.
Yeah.
My family knows not to plan things when the
Yeah.
Bears are playing, and that's just what it is,
Yeah.
I'll get back to you in February.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
February.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the Bears are done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think they're making it that far?
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
making it
they're
that
done.
far.
They're
No, I'm just
December,
saying.
man.
We're just saying
that's
like
when football's done.
that's what I'm saying. Like, don't bother you while
yeah, yeah.
football's on until February.
Oh, yeah.
Don't make any plans.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I got real
That's true.
confused by that comment.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
Usually done by mid-November, really.
Right, yeah, right.
Oh.
Yeah, typically, yeah, especially this year. All right, man. So, like, this has been a very frustrating White Sox season, even for someone like me who's a Cubs fan. We talk about that, like, quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
What to you has been the most frustrating thing about this season?
I've been a White Sox fan since 1987. I used to take the bus down to the White Sox games with my buddies. I have never seen a season like this. If you take 2005, every single day somebody stepped up and had the best day of their life.
Yeah.
Even it was a pitcher, a reliever, whatever, whoever it was, one dude always stepped up. And it's the exact opposite in this season.
Every game there's a letdown.
Every game, one person has the worst game of their life.
Like when you put Ango in for defensive replacement and then he drops a foul ball.
I was so mad. And my wife's like, why do you get mad? I go, I don't have anything else in my life. I go, let me just get mad at this, please, for the love of God. But yeah, dude, it's I mean, even Liam Hendrickson blowing the first save of the year.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, no.
Dude, we're paying you money to save a game. You're there for 1 inning.
Bro. And I was like, oh, no. Because it was like that was the kind of like the beginning. And it was.
How about Joe Kelly coming over here after having been a stud and just sharing his pants every single time?
Can this guy get off the mound without a trainer, walking him back to the, you know what I mean? And look, I get it, people get hurt, but I'm not kidding you, dude. At least 3 or 4 times he's had to walk back to the dugout with a trainer.
Yeah, I just don't understand what's wrong with him.
And then they put him in the first inning the other day.
Yeah, the other day to be a starter. I'm like, why?
What?
The opener.
He was the opener. Dude, your ERA is almost 8.
Yeah.
Why would you give up 2 runs to be behind the ball already?
That was so weird.
And they still walked off that game.
Right. And I don't.
And it should not have been a walk-off.
It's just one of these years. And now, look, they've had a lot of injuries.
Everybody does.
A lot. But, I mean, you're talking about there's been only 4 games this whole year where their big 6 have played together.
Right.
4 games. You know what I'm saying? And so.
Sounds like the Bulls, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So it's been insane. This year is just honestly the weirdest year I've ever experienced. Where, Lucas Giolito went from an ace to like a 4. Just having a bad year.
Yeah, what it is, he's hanging up a lot. He's hanging that fastball just right down the middle.
Oh, right-handed guys are just crushing him.
But here's the thing with Giolito. He had struggles when he was with the Nationals, and that's why they were okay with getting rid of him. He was supposed to be a young stud coming up through the minors, got to Washington, he was supposed to be the next big thing for them, and he just never really panned out because he would have been there right around the same time with Steven Strasburg when he was really popping.
Yeah.
But he just never, and I'm telling you this because I'm very familiar with the fact that he took forever to develop because he had him on a fantasy league for like 3 years. I'm like, this is the next big thing. Never panned out.
Wow.
I get rid of him. I was like, fuck this guy, and I dropped him. And he was like, oh, Eddie dropped me.
Thank God.
I'm gonna start.
He's like, I got the monkey off my back.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he just fucking like comes out on fire. He comes over and he's just always been real up and down with
I'll
his career.
say something real controversial because, I mean, we all hate Josh Donaldson.
Yes.
But Josh Donaldson made
Fuck that dude.
made that quote to Giolito about the ball's not sticky anymore.
Yeah.
And you kind of got to wonder if some of this drop-off in performance.
It is because of that.
He's a year older, 2 years older than his peak.
Yeah.
But also, maybe he did use the sticky stuff, and it is like changing his changeup or changing his slider.
Yeah, his revolutions are down like 800.
Right.
So that's a big difference there.
And somebody like Josh Donaldson, it's just like, I don't know why he's got to lie. And that's a very specific.
Like, you're a douchebag, but damn, you might be right on that one.
And I still hate the guy, but maybe
He's
there
like,
was something there.
He has no reason to lie anymore. He's like, he goes, you're gonna hate me anyway, so it doesn't matter what I say.
Oh, he doesn't give a shit.
He's AJ Przinsky.
Yeah, he's like, everybody hated AJ, and then he came to the White Sox. I'm like, I like this guy.
Yeah, I love
Good
those
guy.
guys. He's actually really good on the booth, though.
Oh yeah,
He is.
He's really good in the booth.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
They're talking about him becoming a manager. I go, he's not a player person.
no, he would last like
Yeah.
training camp. I'd be like, get this guy the fuck out of here. There's a reason I would hate him.
Yeah, so right now the Sox are, 2 games out of Rick because Cleveland.
As of today, they were 2 games out.
So they need to win this one, and then we have to find out what Seattle and Cleveland does.
Right.
But do you see them actually winning this division?
I do, actually. I do. I mean, I'm optimistic.
I already cashed out my bets 2 months ago.
Really?
I cashed them out. There's no way.
So
it was down to like $2.
Here's my rationale, right? Minnesota has no starting pitching right
They
now.
don't.
I saw an interesting statistic last night where it said they ranked 27th in innings pitched. So they're only getting maybe 4.5, 5 innings out of their starters, which
Right.
means
The bullpen
that their
sucks.
bullpen sucks and they're getting tired.
Yep.
Buxton, I don't know when he's coming back, but he's their entire offense.
Right.
They just lost Polanco. He's hurt with a knee injury. And again, we all have, every team has injuries, but those are two centerpieces.
Those are the two big cogs.
Right.
And Correa hasn't been that great.
Right. Now you look at Cleveland, and now their big guns are hurt. Their starting pitching's hurt. So I think, at least my hope is, that the White Sox are going to get healthy at the right time. They've got a pretty weak schedule.
It's all versus the Central.
It's all versus the Central, but also you've got the Rockies. I mean, the Mariners are great.
Yeah, the Mariners, yeah.
But, you're not facing a lot of competition. So I really think that it's really a three-horse race, obviously. But I think they've got a good chance of really pulling this off.
Do you think that the...
Atlanta did last year. Atlanta
exactly.
got hot at the end.
Yeah, they got hot
right.
No, where were they at the All-Star break? I mean, I think they were like 5 or 10 games under 500 the All-Star
exactly.
break.
So now that the big news has been talked about the La Russa exiting because of heart condition.
Yeah.
Do you think that's more of administration of the White Sox saying, you know what, it's time for you to bow out. Let's have you set. Let's do it in a respectable way.
I don't think so, man. I mean, the guy is 78 years old.
Yeah.
He, obviously was a bit of a drinker. So yeah, I mean, so you don't get 2 DUIs on the 2 nights you went drinking. You know what I mean? There was 300 nights you didn't get caught. So I don't think so. I think that he very well could have some health issues. I also think that Reinsdorf is very loyal to his people.
And because he was at the game. He was at the game. And it was like an hour before the game. He was suited up. He was talking to, I think, Dave Stewart, they said. He was literally in his office talking to Dave Stewart. And they're like, hey, we got the results of that test. We think you should pull back, come back to Arizona, take some more tests. I think that's what happened. I think it was a real situation. But at the same time, now you got Miguel Cairo in there, and he's MFing everyone, and he was like, all right, let's fucking go. Like, I'm sure he's tired of watching all this talent get wasted all season and fucking La Russa take naps by the 3rd inning.
Yep.
Right? So he's like, look, guys, hey, you not fooling me, man. You not fooling me, man. I seen it. You better do it.
I don't knowing that you're not Puerto Rican, that makes me way more uncomfortable, because I told my wife, I'm going to some Puerto Rican's house for a podcast today. And now you're like, nah, I'm Jamaican and Irish. I'm like, what? So I am uncomfortable. But
that takes a lot.
I don't subscribe to this thing that like Tony is really tanking this team, man. I mean,
I don't think he's taking it intentionally. I just don't think he's trying.
Number one, their slugging percentage is
not
half what it was
Tony.
last year.
He's not Cardinals Tony La Russa. He doesn't have that spit and vinegar. He's like, fucking, let's go.
I don't know.
He's just like, hey, guys, fucking, could you
But
try
how much
harder?
of an impact do you think that has on a... I mean,
some.
I think with or without him, this team would be 500. And with a better coach, they'd be 10 games over.
Yeah.
10 games
over.
Over?
With a good coach.
Yeah.
Like somebody would have... If you put in AJ Hinge in there.
Yeah.
I think...
That's who they should...
Right. You put Ozzy in there.
I mean, you want to blame... I mean, look, dude, again, I think this is just one of those weird years. But winning a pennant is very hard, and a lot of things. And AJ was saying this the other day. A lot of things that you got to get lucky, and they just have not been
100%,
lucky.
yeah.
But if you look at their slugging percentage, it's way down. Their home run output is way down.
They're getting outslugged at the sub by 30 home runs.
What's his name? Eloy hit a ball at 109 miles an hour at like a 30-degree thing, and it didn't go out.
No.
And they're sitting there going like every other ballpark, it goes out. And it's like almost like that Angels in the outfield are just knocking balls down. You know what I mean, dude? It's weird. It's so weird.
Yeah, but I mean, my big thing is the fundamentals. That's always what it comes down to.
There's always an error, dumb error every game.
It's ridiculous.
Again, that's not.
There it is. Angels in the outfield right there. Knocked it down.
Yeah. I don't think that's completely on Tony. You're talking about professional baseball players that have been playing this game for 30 years, and now all of a sudden, Tony La Russa's the guy that's not.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that. Are they being held accountable? Because that's what it really comes down to. If I can just show up and fuck off and it's like, well, if I win, I win. You know what I mean? Like, it almost feels like a lot of times they're not out there playing with heart. It's weird. Like,
but
I see a lack of effort in a lot of spaces.
But what you don't see is like, Tim Anderson's been gone how much? He's the spark plug in the offense. Luis Roberts been gone how long? Eloy's only played in 50
MVP
games.
Candidate.
Abreu's only hitting singles this year.
Grandal's knee is about to blow out.
Grandal is done. I mean, you got 3 first basemen playing in the outfield.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, I'm surprised, frankly, that they haven't lost more. Their pitching is really what's kept them in there this year.
Yeah, the pitching's been phenomenal, except for.
But the losses that they have all been like, well, Adam Engel had a bad day, or Tim Anderson had 3 errors today. It's like, what? Just stuff that's never happened before. But it just that's the beauty of the game, though. It just goes to show you like how difficult it is to win this this league.
Unless you're the Dodgers.
Oh yeah, Dodgers.
Los Dodgers.
As Eddie would say, Dodgers. Oh man.
So I mean,
are you from San Juan? Kingston and Dublin. What? What?
Yeah, they get the games down there.
We get the best of both worlds. So one thing we were talking about. So now thinking about TLR, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he's coming back next year.
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't see how that's even possible.
I don't think
it's a good way for him to bow out.
Season. Who are you looking towards to be the next manager?
Well, I think you look at somebody like a guy like Miguel Cairo, But I think you also have to look at somebody like a Sandy Alomar Jr. He's got some experience. He took over for Cleveland when Terry Francona got sick.
Yep.
He's got a history with the White Sox.
Yep.
You've got a Latin baseball club.
Yeah, 90% of it is.
I think one guy's Jamaican Irish, but that's fine. Not a big deal. But.
That's Galvin Sheets.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's you look at somebody like that I think would be a prime candidate to take over.
What about like Carlos Baerga?
I don't know enough about him.
He was with the Mets.
Oh, there's Joey Cora too, third base coach for the 05 White Sox.
There we go. There we go. Get a double.
Yeah.
All right, this is the weirdest sports I've ever seen.
The quinceañera section caught it. Look at these guys.
It's soccer jersey night.
You guys can see this. That's hilarious.
It's soccer jersey night, of course.
That's so
my God. All right, man. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
White Sox make it to the playoffs. What are realistic expectations?
First round.
Probably out in the first. Depends on who they play. Like, I knew when they played the Astros last year, I'm like, oh, they're done.
Yeah, and they're going to play either the Astros or Seattle.
Yeah.
So they'll be done again.
Seattle, they'll
hang out with them.
Yeah, because I think, Seattle has to travel far. They play in a dome. It's cold. It's October. It's October in Chicago, So I can see them cooling off their bats a little bit. But they've had momentum the whole year. What I do like about this Sox team is the fact that they've been in the playoffs the last 2 years, and they can work off that experience. And they're starting pitching. You got to keep in mind, they only got to win 3 games. You know what I mean? You got Dylan Cease, who threw a 1-hitter. You got
Cueto.
Lance Lynn, who's now
turning it up. Yeah,
great. And then you have Kopech will come back with a rested arm.
That's true.
So
that is true.
I'll trust Cueto right now.
Yeah, I mean, Cueto's just a baller, dude. We were talking about it the other day. Me and my buddies were like that's the guy you want to have a beer with.
Oh, 1,000%.
Cueto,
That's the guy you have to wrestle the beer away from so you get some.
Yeah, right.
All right, man. So I don't know what to expect out of this team on a daily basis. That's my problem.
I don't.
It is so random. You're like. You look at the lineup, you look at the matchup, you're like, okay, I got a pretty good feeling of what's going to happen today. I feel like every time you look at that, first of all, you don't know what's going on with the lineup, and second of all, you just I have no idea. I mean, it's like a surprise every time.
Well,
like a complete surprise.
I really hated that Lewis was moving these guys out of the comfort zone in the lineup. Up and down, up and down, up.
That's the huge difference.
That's some Joe Madden shit right there.
That is, yeah. It's like, I mean, baseball players are creatures of habit.
Yeah.
So, Abreu, bat him third. Then you put Lou Bob and then Eloy right after. Like,
you look at the 05 White Sox, it was the same lineup, I think, for all of, maybe one difference. I think Carl Everett or whatever sat out one game with the DH or something like that. But, I mean, for the most part, it was Scotty Pods and then Aguchi and then Paul Canerico and that.
Oribe, yep.
Jermaine Dye.
Yeah.
So it was just all every day. This is what they knew they were going to do.
Right. And then Ozzie would say, oh, today you have a day off. Okay. Put some other guy in.
To your point, Eddie, it's like the playoffs come. It's like, who's going to be healthy? And then also it's like defense wins championships. So, you got to put... you have to choose, with the White Sox, you have to choose one. Either it's going to be a good defense on the field and an okay offense, or it's going to be a shitty defense and a decent offense. You know what I'm saying? You can't have both.
I mean, there's not many times they've been scoring 13 runs, though.
No, exactly. It's going to be these 3-2, 3-1 games.
Exactly.
And that's when you want to have good defense out there.
So, looking at the way that the White Sox are currently constructed, What position do you think they need to fill in the in free agency in the offseason? Because I mean, there's a lot of guys that are going to be free agents.
Dude, and this is, you guys are both going to laugh at this, but because I know they'll never do it. But like, can you imagine an outfield with Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, and Aaron Judge?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? It's like the next 5 years. I mean, my God, you know what I'm saying?
But that's predicated on Lubai being healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because and Eloy being healthy.
Yeah.
Because we said the same thing about Stanton and Judge, and Stanton
can never stay healthy.
I mean, it's ridiculous to see a guy that talented, that strong.
Is.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, but it's how much does that really help you?
Yeah.
If you can't be there when I really need you, I'm just, I'm paying you
but
to be
Aaron Judge compared to AJ Pollock. I
mean,
you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. That's also looking at the rest of that outfield. You know what I mean? Like that's the tricky thing.
Oh,
yes.
Hey, there it is.
We're gonna tie it. Sorry for all you people who are watching the White Sox versus the Twins on Sunday, September 4th. So I don't know when this comes out, but
it'll come out on Tuesday.
They didn't tie it because we don't know how to run bases.
Yeah. No, we don't.
That's great.
That's a couple free agents that you just still want to look at. I know DH. We have plenty of them, so we're not gonna.
We got a whole team of DHs.
Yeah, so we don't have to address that. But
I think the big question is, what do you do with Abreu? Because he's a free agent next year.
But he's also batting .311.
Yeah, he's leading the league in hits.
And he's playing hurt every day.
Right.
So I think you give him one more year. Give him a 1 year contract.
Does he take a 1 year, you think?
Yeah, he takes a 1 year. He doesn't want to leave.
Abreu?
He doesn't want to leave.
How old is Abreu now?
35.
Well, he's Cuban, so he might be 48.
Yeah. You get it. You're Puerto Rican.
That is right. I am 12.
Yeah. 15.
I really think that letting Carlos Rodon go after you developed him and you gave him his shot and he pitched his ass off and earned a contract, you should have paid him.
Yeah, but you can. Okay, I'll play devil's advocate though. But they knew that they had Michael Kopech coming in, right? And Michael Kopech, I mean, I don't know what the breakdowns are in their stats. I know Carlos has had a great year.
Yeah, he has.
But, it's not like they didn't have a plan. The plan all along was to bring Kopech in.
They didn't have any. It's not like they didn't have anything else coming down the pipeline.
Right.
And again, another guy injured, healthy, figures it out, shows you, hey, when I'm healthy, I can
one
do
good year.
Right. He did.
Right.
Now I'm glad. I mean, I'm happy for him. He seems like a really good dude. I'm glad he's having a great year.
Yeah.
But, it's not like they didn't have a plan. The plan was we're going to bring in Kopech. Now, the one guy that got hurt in their bullpen, the left-hander, Garrett.
Crotch rocket.
Crotch rocket.
Yeah. So we've had some some injuries.
Yeah, he's done for the year, right?
He's done for the year, but I think that's another guy that they were going to groom to take over. So they had plenty of pitching. And now, what I didn't agree with, which might be directly related to this, was signing Kimbrel, Craig Kimbrel.
His trade?
No, but not just the trade, but they gave him
more money. Yeah,
that they bought his year out.
Yeah.
Where they could have just let him go and be free and have that money to get Carlos. But I don't like to say, well, what could have been, should have been. Just live in the now, man.
Live in the now. So Aaron Judge, throw all the money at him then.
Oh my God! I mean, the guy's gonna be MVP.
30 years old. How many years you give him?
Oh, I'd give him the Pujols 10-year contract.
Yeah. Aaron Judge. Yeah.
You throw him the 10 years, $500 million.
Yeah, put his ass out in the.
You do know who the owner is, right?
Of course. But
we didn't say what we think they're going to do. What should you do?
What should you do is that.
And this is all pie in the sky, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And at the same time, I mean, the Cubs are essentially in the same position. Okay, we're trying. We all knew that this is going to be the same year for the Cubs that we're going to see coming up with the Bears. Prove it. Hey, I got a bunch of money coming up. If you want to be here, prove it. So I don't have to fill your spot. So I don't have to spend a bunch of money to fill your spot, and I can spend that money on you in a couple of years. Prove it. And that's what's going on with the Cubs right now. So a lot of these players right here are in play for the Cubs as well.
I think the Cubs have a bigger shot as far as
a guy like
a percentage,
Judge,
than the Sox do.
If the Cubs don't open the checkbook next year, you might as well sell the team. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay.
Yeah, and you finally you're at that point. I mean, you were crying piss poor because of everything with the pandemic, which I get because look at all that, and we talked about when it happened. Look at all that real estate that you have to pay for now, and all of a sudden the money's gone, and I can't pay this guy, I can't pay that guy. What a weird. If you look at the 2016 Chicago Cubs and look at where they are now, it was one of the weirdest trajectories. The way that the team fell apart. starting with Addison Russell, his whole shit that went on.
Yeah.
And eventually, as he came down the line, Ben Zobrist and his wife. It was just a lot of weird shit that really
His
broke
wife
that
is
team
very
apart.
weird, yes.
She is very weird.
Weird
She's one of
looking.
us.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. It was terrifying. Yeah,
Shout out Ben Zobrist. And your weird ass wife.
Is it ex-wife now?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, they're ex-wives,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
because she was like sleeping with a pastor of the church that they go to. Oh. Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks. Breaking news: Ben Zobrist's weird wife is begging the pastor.
Look, JD Martinez out there, 35 years old, but he's still got the good pop. Trey Turner. There's a lot of players out there right now that are going to be prime candidates to get paid.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just depends on if your owner wants
Look,
to
the
spend
White
the
Sox.
money.
The White Sox are still young, and I think they still have like a huge, like a core, of people. I think they're gonna have to. They're gonna be in a market for another catcher. I think Grandal was done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another shitty base running.
What about a catcher who's currently on the north side?
Definitely.
They kept him. They didn't trade him. He's
Yeah,
still
but
a Cub.
his contract's over.
He's a free agent.
They're gonna have to sign him. I think.
Yeah.
I
think they'll sign him.
Yeah, I think that's why they didn't trade him, and I think the fact that they didn't trade him is going to make him more likely to sign another contract with the Cubs. They just have to figure out the numbers.
If they weren't going to keep him, they would have traded him. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I think he's safe.
What about a guy like Gary Sanchez
Over at
for a catcher?
He's with Minnesota,
he's with
right?
the Twins right now. Yeah.
No. His because
That's him right there.
Just tagged him.
Yeah, but he's batting like 230.
So he fits in the White Sox lineup perfectly.
Yeah, he'd be perfect. Yeah. I mean, I like Sebi Zavala. I think Sebi's great. He's come out offensively.
Who loves you, baby?
But yeah, right. My wife says the same thing
all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
I can't help myself.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, look. You look. What? Austin Hedges. I'm looking at catchers right now. Yeah, Austin Hedges. Who is this? Wilson, of course.
I mean, I would go after Severino.
Roberto Perez.
Yeah.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
That would be a good one. You take him away from the Royals, who don't need him anyway.
Right.
It's like, what are they going to do with him?
Oh, dude, Kansas is like forever just a minor league team.
Christian Vasquez, only 32 years old. He's a pretty good catcher. So I mean, there's definitely players out there to fill the spots that you need. You just don't. It's going to be really interesting because there are a lot of names out there this season that I don't think we've seen.
Even Chris Sale.
many.
Chris Sale's a free agent.
Well,
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I
was so happy when they traded him.
Yeah, he's a nutcase.
Well, not only that, it's just they got the best out of him.
They
You know
did.
what I'm saying?
They squeezed
were
every
able-
drop of that
they were
other orange.
able to rebuild just based on that trade.
Yeah. No, he's but the problem is that who they got back for him is still trying to figure it out after all this time.
Oh, they got Moncada.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they get Rodon as well?
Yeah, but Moncada's defense is amazing.
Oh my God.
Is it not?
I mean, I'm not saying that, but
That's the equivalent to Jason Hayward, right?
Yeah, okay.
Great defense,
I think,
but
dude,
can't hit.
Dude, I had COVID about a month ago, and I wanted to write a letter of apology to Yohan Moncada.
Yeah.
Because he had COVID real bad,
Mm-hmm.
and he jumped back in there. I can't believe he played in 2020 as
He
bad
did.
as I felt, man. I'm still going on downstairs like. So the fact that he competed on a major league level, having had long COVID, my God, I tip my cap to that guy. And I don't think he's fully come back. Dude.
I don't think for me
Honest to God.
the COVID thing
I agree.
doesn't bother me. Like I understand that everyone deals with COVID in a different way because it's your body. My biggest thing is like, how long is your hamstring going to be hurting?
Yeah.
Like, dude, do some yoga, hire a hot yoga instructor, and I'm pretty sure you'll do whatever she tells you to do. And then get a hot masseuse and, have hot yoga.
That didn't work out for Deshaun Watson, so we might want to
Or it
get
did.
an ugly male.
Well, actually, it did
It worked.
multiple times.
It worked this way out.
Jesus.
Woo. I drafted him out of fantasy league yesterday. No, this
Oh.
morning is
You
better.
piece of shit.
Yeah. I'll be a piece of shit week 16 when he comes back or whatever the hell it is, and I win my league because of him.
He comes like week 12, I think.
Something
Or
like
something.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, against Houston.
I just remembered I had 2 fantasy drafts this morning that I did. Yes.
Jesus.
I'm pretty sure you're in both those leagues, so I know I'm going to beat you that week. 'Cause
I did not draft.
You did.
I had no idea when the draft
There's
was.
no
Thanks.
shot you
funny,
drafted.
dude. You're that guy, and you'll probably end up winning the league.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Watch.
Yeah.
On my advice.
Yeah.
No, I'm a part of this league with his college buddies, and like they're all like Dungeons and Dragon nerds, and just
Yeah.
they live in their mom's basements, and they're just we're on Zoom doing the draft, and they're just giving me shit like, why are you drafting this? Because it's a keeper league, and you're drafting just rookies. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
I don't watch college football, so I'm
Yeah.
asking him questions like, is this guy good? Is that guy good? He's like, yeah, this guy. Fucking went to the championship game, lost by 3 points.
I'm that guy that plays fantasy once every 3 years, and then I'll be like, "Is LaDainian Tomlinson still playing?"
Adrian Peterson, number one pick.
AP.
Hey, that was a good pick. He was a good pick.
I played fantasy 2 years ago. I had the best team from what would have been 2014. Like, this team's amazing.
Like Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, seriously, it was, yeah.
Yeah, he had 6 kids at that
There's
point.
Calvin Evans right there. That's
There
the
you
guy I
go.
was talking about, the comic. He's
That's
on
awesome.
a TV commercial. That's
Look
so
at that.
funny.
Yeah, well, timing is everything, I guess.
Right?
Wow.
So funny.
So, I mean, we talked a little bit before we got on the air here, and you were talking about your your love or hate for Kenny Williams still being involved.
Dude, I'm like, all right, I get passionate about this. But the White Sox, prior to the last 2 years making the playoffs, I think had made the playoffs like 2 or 3 times. 2005, they won the whole thing.
2008.
2008.
Cubs and Sox both made it that year.
Right. And then I think maybe one other year, I think, but I'm not sure. So this guy's been at the helm for 20 years.
Yeah.
And you've got 2 playoff games out of, you got 1 championship, which is huge. That's gigantic. But you've got, after that, 1 playoff victory. I mean, it's absolutely insane how we've just accepted mediocrity. You know what I mean? And that's been my issue with the White Sox, is that, like, number one, they play second fiddle to the Cubs for many, many years. You know what I mean? And then, now it's like, how do you just are such a mediocre team for so long, and then all of a sudden you get to keep your job for that? You know what I mean? Like, you look at the revolving door that is the Chicago Bears, right?
But not even that. He got promoted.
Yeah, he got promoted. He's a president of the company, of the organization.
Yeah.
It's insane to me. And,
Yeah, because you're the problem with Reinsdorf is he's very famously way too loyal to people that don't deserve loyalty.
my big theory is that the White Sox are just a tax write-off for Reinsdorf, and that he doesn't really care. I mean, I just honestly, I just don't think
it's shared revenue, so it doesn't matter.
I think for him, he's just a finance guy. He just wants to make money, and he doesn't really care about championships. And if he were sitting right now, maybe he'd tell me I'm completely wrong. But especially after watching that 10-part series on the Bulls, and they're like, well, we didn't go for the 7th one because we're just like, we can't afford you, so we just like moving. And it's just
we won a bunch of them. It's fine.
Like, how can you not afford?
What? Yeah, exactly. I'm like, they're the hottest team in the world. You don't, every single one of them. Even Michael Jordan was like, I would have taken a pay cut.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like you had to pay Pippen. I get that, but like Reinsdorf's never sent that splashy contract. Like he's the most expensive contract he ever signed was Grandal, and that was $73 million. This guy's gonna make second. Seriously, on a
It is.
single.
Yeah, no one hustles on the White Sox. Yeah,
Nobody hustles, man.
It's like watching live the thing that we're talking about the whole time. I just said
Right.
and then you get
fucking try.
You get Diekman, whose ERA was like 12, and like, he's gonna be a great pitcher for us. Like, no, he's not.
No,
he's garbage.
Where did he come from? I remember
Boston.
I remember him being on Oakland and being bad there.
Yeah.
So how does he keep getting contracts?
he's a left-hander.
And he fits in with the White Sox. You
can
do bad,
throw-
and they move you up.
He can throw a ball 97 miles an hour. That's how you keep getting a job.
Unfortunately, straight down the middle.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he looks like a porn actor from 1976.
Right.
As they're wearing their 85 jerseys.
You missed
Yeah,
your
100%.
bus again. What? You're gonna learn a lesson.
I think the White Sox should all have like porn mustaches. That should be their thing to put them unite them all together.
Yeah.
Everyone has a porn mustache, like a handlebar.
Everyone
or
on the
C's.
internet would know who they are.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone. Anyone's like, have you used the internet today? Yeah. You mean like the porno socks?
The porno socks.
Porno socks. I'm gonna name my next special that.
Not the go-go socks, the porno
The porno
socks.
socks.
Check out Ken Garr on Netflix. Porno socks.
Whoa.
Hey, you heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
So since we've come to that part of the show,
That's right.
I'm going to ask real quick about the origin of BDGC.
Oh, big dick, good credit.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So my wife is gorgeous.
There you go.
She is. She's beautiful. I have no business
Outkicked
being
your
with her.
Yeah, you outkicked your coverage.
I outkicked my coverage. Yeah. I Pat Donnelly'd it.
Great football reference.
Yeah.
There it is.
And so for me, it was, honestly, guys will hit on her or like they'll talk to her, like, talk her up, and I love it. Like I'm not an insecure dude.
Yeah.
I don't get mad at her. I take it as a compliment. And we were one night. This dude's just like, how'd you pull that off, man? He's like, looks me up and down, and it's like, hey, man, I go, yeah. I'm like, I got a big dick and good credit, but it's like, you know what I mean? And so that's kind of where it came from. It was just a true story, And I said, look, man, I go, it's all about how you carry yourself.
Yeah.
And you just got to be confident, and you got to. My dad gave me the best advice ever growing up. He said, always hit on the hottest girl in the room because every other guy's intimidated by her or won't
do anything.
Or won't do it.
It's like, I got no shot at that.
Yeah.
And every time I would walk up to the hottest girl in the room, and then all of a sudden my friends would come over like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, no, I'm talking to her,
Okay.
But you just, for me, it was just having that confidence in yourself, like I'm a funny dude, I'm successful, like I have a lot to offer people, and so for me, when we started, but like dating an incredibly beautiful woman is just like you got to hold yourself, you know what I mean? Like you can't have low self-esteem. You got to be like, yeah, man, I'm the man, You
got to match that energy.
Yeah, you do. You do, man, because girls don't like insecure guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You gotta have, and it's I'm nothing to look at. You can, whatever. I'm just an average looking dude or whatever. But like, I treat her like a queen, and she's amazing, and we live an amazing life and have a great marriage. And but it's because I have that self-confidence to like know who I am as a person. You know what I'm saying?
That went a different direction that I thought it was gonna be real raunchy.
No, I'm sorry, but yeah.
No,
I'm sitting here and talking about my big dick with two dudes in a basement.
Well, you could airdrop it to us.
All right, guys, open your phones. There we go. Why is it black?
He's Irish black.
There it is.
I'm Jamaican and Irish.
All right, man. Before we go to break, 2 questions. Who is going to win the World Series?
Yankees or Dodgers? I think it's gonna be the Dodgers. I think they're the most.
Yeah, my second team.
Yeah, I think they're the team that has the most experience. They're stacked.
Yes,
their pitching is
also
insane. I mean, I think it's going to be Dodgers. But the Yankees are also great. But they've, I think the Yankees are like, they're kind of falling apart a little bit. But it's going to give them
their regular season great,
right? But also at the same time, it's going to give them that like we need to kick it in high gear.
Yeah,
plus they've had their injuries too. So, but yeah, I think Dodgers are probably going to win it.
All right, what are the Bears going to do this year?
Bears. Here's what's funny, man. Everyone's like dogging them on Bears Twitter, about how they're like even ESPN, even the the experts. And dude, you look at the roster; it's not much different than it was last year. They won 6 games with the 3rd hardest schedule.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Schedule's easier this year.
So the schedule's easier this year. Justin Fields has a better offensive line than last year, arguably. He's got another year of experience. He's got better coaches.
Yes. Way better coaches.
You've got Darnell Mooney, who's going to have a breakout, probably another breakout year. You've got Komet, hopefully. And I think the defense is going to hold it together. I think you got some real hitters on there.
Yes.
You got Brisker. Roquan is back.
Yeah.
I'm only worried. I am just worried right now about their defensive line. If they can get after it, and I just don't think that they got that guy. I think they're gonna double Quinn every snap, and I don't know if that Justin Jones or if who's the guy on the other side, but I just don't think they'd have enough talent. See, that's the problem. Like, they don't have that.
Well, they're relying on young guys. They've done I've really been impressed with what Ryan Poles has done, because he's done the exact opposite of what Ryan Pace did. I wasn't mad at a lot of the moves that Ryan Pace made, because he found something that he was like, that's going to help my team win.
Yeah.
And he went after it, and he grabbed that player, right? Yeah. It's the same thing. It's what he did with Mitch. It was what he did with Justin Fields. He has done that. What he did when he got Khalil Mack on his team. Do you remember how amazing it felt when we heard on a Saturday morning that the Khalil Mack was like, wait, he kind of doesn't like the Raiders anymore, and then you wake up and you're like, oh, he's on the Bears. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
All this, and then you had everything in 2018. You had a lot of momentum. What you're seeing now at a Ryan Poles, he's like, all right, I'm not bringing anyone's old shit with me.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to start from scratch. We're going to build this shit. Okay, let's see. Fields, because this next upcoming season is going to be a smorgasbord of whatever kind of quarterback that you want to run your offense off of, right?
Yeah.
You have Luke Getsy now coming over from Green Bay working with a mobile quarterback. Even his offensive coordinator took that Denver job. So, I mean, Aaron Rodgers all of a sudden is missing a bunch of pieces that really made him comfortable. And, you got to think about this stage in his career. There's a lot of different factors as to why am I still playing.
Yeah.
Now everything kind of fell apart. You lost your number one receiver. You lost your offensive coordinator and your quarterback's coach. This is going to be a real interesting season for them, and a lot of that has to do with what's going on with the Bears. So I think what you're seeing out of Poles right now is just his way and his vision of how he can build a team.
My concern, though, first of all, I love the culture, at least from an outside perspective. I don't have any insight on the Bears, but the outside perspective with the hits and like they're hustling and they're these guys are talking about how tired they are after practice.
Different culture,
right? I like the culture, but it's like we don't have one experienced guy. He's a brand new GM.
Yeah.
He's a brand new head coach. He's a brand new offensive coordinator. He's a brand new defensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? Like, actually, I think he's a defensive coordinator in Minnesota, which didn't have great defenses. So, I'm interested now. Eberflus or Flus or whatever they call him.
The Flus.
I mean, he knows defense, right? Yeah. But this is an offensive league. And so,
to his credit, they've been saying that he's been hanging out in the quarterback room a lot more with the offensive coaches, more than with the defense.
Yeah.
He's not worried about the defense. He's like, okay, let me go see what you guys are doing, and learn. Yeah, and
because that's the thing is that he comes away from Indianapolis being a defensive coordinator, having a top 10 defense the last couple seasons. You got Allen. I just had his last name in my head, but the new defensive coordinator, Allen Williams. Thank you. A new defensive coordinator who has experience in the league. He has been a defensive coordinator before. I want to say with the Lions, maybe
the Vikings.
Yeah, and so he's been around for a while. He. Just like anything else, you learn from your experiences, you bring that up. So now you're in a position where you're not dealing with a lot of personalities where you have to fight around that, guys who think they're better than they are or have big egos like you might have to deal with like Khalil Mack. Robert Quinn does not have that ego. I mean, have you ever seen him without a helmet on? Like, he looks like, something from Sanford and Son. Like,
he looks like a bus driver.
Yeah. Right. He's coming out here with fucking Kevin. He's coming out here with that Kevin Durant fade. Like, just, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? So, like, he's humble enough to be like, I'm a professional football player. I will whoop your ass. I have the fucking sack leads for the Bears single season. Come at me. He had ups and downs. So there's not egos that these guys have to play with. So they can put the pieces in there and build it their way.
I think at the end of the day, it's just going to come down to Justin Fields.
Oh, of course.
It is a quarterback league, and either he is a superstar or he isn't. And this year's going to be very telling. Now, if it's what the Bears screwed up is they spent too much time on Mitch Trubisky, and it was just like, you know what I mean? Like, the guy gave us great, we had great wins, but it was all on the defense that year that we went 12-4, right? He had short fields to work with.
Yeah, but he had some really that Tampa game where he had 6 touchdowns. That was insane.
Yeah, but Tampa had a terrible defense.
Yeah, but I mean, you still have to make those throws.
Yeah, but there's just like every other Bears quarterback, no consistency.
Oh,
look, this is it. Either Justin Fields is a superstar or he isn't, and I think you need to have a superstar quarterback in this league.
I don't think you find that out this year. I don't think it's fair to figure that out this year. You know what I mean? I don't think you find that out.
I think you get a lot more tape.
You do, but brand new coach.
Yeah.
Brand new system. You can see the system is going to be moving more to running the ball. They brought in a fullback.
Yeah.
So you can see I think right now what you're looking for is Darnell Mooney to continue to develop and what's going to happen with Cole Kmet.
Yeah.
Because Cole Kmet is going to be a key for a team that likes to run the ball, and you got to pick up those short first downs.
There's a difference. They say they win 6 games this year and they lead the league in drops. You know what I'm saying? Justin Fields has got it. We got to get him some more weapons, right? But if Justin Fields isn't hitting these little medium passes that he's terrible at, and you know what I mean? If he doesn't, if we don't see that growth, all I'm saying is, I'm not saying like this is a make or break year. I'm just saying we have got to see some tremendous growth from Justin Fields.
Oh, 100%.
And I think that this year is going to tell us, hey, man, I think we got a superstar. We just need to surround him versus like.
Yeah.
But what I don't want the Bears to do is be like, well, we spent all this money and he's a first round pick. And I hate that
They
shit.
do that.
They do that all the time. Yeah. That's the culture.
That's the Luol Deng move right there.
Yeah, well, we took, the fact that they even took Mitch Trubisky in that. I mean, that should have lost Pace's job.
But that's the thing is, like I said, he was like, I I recognize this player. He's like, I think I see something in this guy that no one else is seeing. He went after what he wanted and what he believed would make the team better. I give him credit for that.
He bet on himself.
I don't give him credit.
He bet on himself. He said
You passed up a Heisman Trophy winner who was an absolute lock-in, I believe. Deshaun Watson was a lock-in.
Yeah, but I mean,
the thing is that he had knee issues, and that was something that deterred a lot of teams.
Yeah, his knee issue was a little bit higher.
Hey, what over?
Oh, his penis.
Yeah,
got it. Okay.
He's got. Yeah, I wonder how his credit is in those.
Oh, yeah, but you passed up on Patrick Mahomes as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so did
that
like 12 other teams.
That I understand.
Either way,
but
this is my point.
They traded up for
Mitch. Like I said, you wanted Mitch. You went after Mitch. You thought he would be he had the highest ceiling, right? That's what it really came down to at that time. Who had the highest ceiling? He also had the lowest floor, right? And so I don't think he got a fair shake with Nagy because I think Nagy's a dick. Like I was fine with like a lot of the decisions he made early, and then he just kept like putting his foot in his mouth. I was like, dude, like you're not taking any responsibility for like the fuck ups.
Zero.
Like, stop being a dick. Like help this kid out. Try. It just felt like a lot of sabotage.
He never tried to adjust the offense to the kid's strengths.
No, that Cleveland game got him fired. I mean,
100%.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after a short break with Stirring the Pot and What You Looking At.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride, so do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Hey, what's up? This is Lex Cruz from Jungle AE Recording Studios and Illinois Media School, and you are now listening to True Chicago Sports Fans Podcast.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with E-Roc and Big Z.
Oh, yeah.
It's that time again, brother.
Uh-oh.
You know what time it is.
Oh, boy.
It's time for Stirring the Pot. All right, so we have Ken Garr here as our special guest, and you know what? We're going to throw it to you, and we try to find obscure things to talk about when it comes to food, and this is an obscure thing. Oscar Mayer starts selling cold dog popsicles in select cities. So these are popsicles that are flavored like hot dogs.
I will throw up all over myself in this moment.
So they're selling for $2 at frozen desserts, all over. It's in New York, Atlanta, New Orleans, and Long Beach. So the question is, will you try a mustard flavored hot dog popsicle?
Look at my face right now. This is a true story. I haven't had a hot dog since I was 5 years old.
What?
They make me throw up.
What you
Even Jude's right here.
After reading The Jungle or something?
I ate a hot dog one day when I was about 5, and I threw up. And after that, it was like,
nope.
I can't do this ever again.
You know, that happened to me once with Bacardi.
Oh, yeah. I get that. Yeah. But it's the same thing, right? Have you ever you do a night where you drink Jaeger and then you never drink Jaeger ever again?
Yeah, someone brought a bottle of Bacardi to my house 5 years ago. It's still full of Bacardi.
Hot dogs are disgusting in my opinion. I can't even stand the smell of them. And I would never eat a popsicle flavored.
This is the most Fred Durstiest dessert of all time. The hot dog flavored water. Like, I don't understand. What is this thing actually made of?
I don't even know. It's you see the picture here. So it's got a little stick and it looks like a hot dog with mustard
flavored.
on it.
It's a hot dog flavored. Right
hot dog flavored.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. Like who even drinks the hot dog water?
How'd they get approved?
This guy's like, I got $1 million idea for you guys.
Well, that's the thing is that they've gotten to the point where they're trying to make any food taste like any food. They're like, hey, do you want some cauliflower chicken wings? I'm like, that's not a thing.
I'd rather have a chicken wing covered in a girl's period than a fucking hot dog flavored popsicle. I'll eat a dozen of those. On a heavy flow day, and eat a hot dog popsicle.
I'll do a dozen heavy flows, please.
See,
you want mango? Nope.
I can't do that because I hate ketchup. So is that 3 no's?
That's definitely 3 no's. There's no way.
First of all, I kind of want to meet the person who's like, that was delicious, just so I could make sure.
But can you imagine the focus group? Like, hey, here you go. Here's a flavored hot dog popsicle. Like, who the fuck said yes?
I'm like, if I leave right now, do I still get paid?
Yeah, exactly.
No way. No way I'd eat that.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Transition.
All right.
Let's transition.
Please, I'm trying. But then now you got the hot dog in the brain, and it's hurting me. Okay. All right. Anyway.
You know, Cosby. I get the hot dog in the brain. I put the roofie in the.
He was famous for putting that hot dog in the brain. All right, y'all. Before we go, what you looking at? What are you watching that isn't sports, Ken?
Oh, me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hot seat.
Right now, it's Narcos Mexico.
Oh, that's a great series.
Oh, I love it.
It's a great series.
I love it. It's my second time watching it, and I can't find. I find myself like feeling bad for these narcos.
Yeah, like, man, these guys are good guys. They're fun.
I was like, oh, just let him retire. Oh, let him out of the biz. Come on, let him just have his $hundreds of millions, even though he's murdered dozens of police officers. But yeah, it's that's my jam right now. I just think it's a really well done show, and yeah, I've been watching that. It's been great.
Is your Spanish getting better?
Yeah. So funny.
See.
Dodgers.
I like how they have the like the Brazilian actors in there playing Mexicans. I'm like, yeah, his Spanish is nowhere near what it's supposed to be, but okay, let's run with it anyways.
Yeah.
He's a good looking guy.
What, like Malik Yoba doing his Jamaican accent?
Oh boy.
Yeah, man. You know how insulting that was?
I'm so sorry.
Not very at all. I
didn't care.
It's like, I'm half Irish. I don't care.
I drank through that part of it. What you been watching, Z?
Game of Thrones, House of Dragon.
Oh yeah, watch that too. Yeah.
And there's new episodes every Sunday. No spoilers because E hasn't watched it. And he's notorious for starting the show, watching 1-2 episodes, and then never ever watching the rest of it.
After the episode that I fall asleep in, I just forget that it's a show.
And he moves on to a new show and does the same thing.
There's a tinge of pedophilia going on in that, though.
I mean,
girls
the
look
incest.
real young.
Yeah, just 14.
They look real young.
I mean,
it's like, I'm gonna marry this 14-year-old.
Yeah, the first episode is like, oh, we're gonna set you up with my daughter who's 6.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
what?
like that walk in the little. I'm like, what is this right now?
Yeah, this did not.
Uncomfortable for me.
It was, and I'm glad he didn't choose her. It doesn't ruin the story, right?
No, you're fine.
I mean, it kind of ruins it now because I don't want to watch it anymore.
Another thing that I've been watching is Black Phone.
Yeah,
did you see that?
That was
it
was decent.
It was good. A great original concept.
Yeah.
It takes place about what's it, the 80s?
Yeah,
when we were kids, when we were bike riding, and kids were getting put on milk cartons.
Yep. Yeah.
That's pretty much what it was. So
have you seen me?
Yeah, I mean that's where the cause
I mean, it's basically an escape room.
Yeah.
It's ran by.
Oh boy.
The kid gets clues on a phone.
Yeah. I almost.
Yeah, you almost went into that one.
I almost ruined it. Should I ruin it?
No, don't ruin that one. Go watch Black Phone. It's on, I believe it's on Peacock, right?
Yeah.
House of Dragon is on HBO. Last but not least, A League of Their Own series. I'm 1 episode in. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to watch that yet because that's,
I know there's uproar because
I'm already watching girls play softball. I don't need to watch baseball too.
Yeah, there's a big uproar because a lot of the characters are going to be lesbians.
And
that's what I said.
Watch the WNBA. I mean, like, let's be honest here.
It makes no difference to me as long as it's a good show. I don't care who's the actor and what their preference is.
I mean, look, I have Jimmy Funko Pop sitting back there, like looking at me, staring at me. Why haven't you watched?
Jimmy Dugan.
Yeah, he already
don't catch the clap.
Yeah,
that's great advice, kid.
Oh man!
All right, E, what are you watching?
I watched a couple of different things since we last spoke. I watched the entirety.
Oh, what?
Oh yeah.
I know why you did, but go ahead.
You know why? Of That Fool. Have you seen this yet? It's
fucking
comedy. It's
hilarious.
In and out. I'm good.
Fucking hilarious. It's 22 minutes to about 30 minutes each episode.
A couple of buddies of mine are on that show.
Yeah. No way.
Yeah, my buddy created it.
Chris?
Yeah.
No. Oh,
Chris
that's
Estrada,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, he's funny. This is a guy. Does he do a lot of LA stuff? I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, we did
LA.
open mics together and stuff.
Okay, yeah, because I wasn't familiar with him, and he came on, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I see his comedy.
Frankie Quinones is in it. My buddy Jamar is in it. Yeah, it's a great show.
I did see a couple, like, I follow comedians on Instagram, so you see their clips, and I'm like, okay, I saw that on the show. You used a couple things here and there.
Oh yeah.
But it is well written, and it's
Michael Imperioli.
Yeah, Michael Imperioli. Yeah,
I think it already got approved for a second season.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, I finished that within a day. Like, I was just like, I had to binge it.
And I'll tell you the cool thing about this show is the lady that plays the mom, Laura Catalano. She is in the show Gentefied. If you haven't seen that one,
that's another good show.
That's another really good show. So that also, I've been watching Reservation Dogs on Hulu. It's about 4 teenagers who are kind of like just scumbags on an Indian reservation.
Oh boy!
And that guy that was on the on TikTok drinking the ocean spray, skateboarding, he is in the show. He's in the show,
wow.
And you like as soon as I'm like, oh, I'll recognize him when I see him, and I'm like, no, that's not him. And all of a sudden you're like, yeah, that's totally fucking him. And he has a pretty big like role, like in at least one episode. So it was actually really cool to see him out there. He did a great job. And then the other show that I've been watching that I did finish watching is Mo. It's Mo Amer.
Oh, yeah,
his show, it is so good. It is so good. A lot of it derives from his 2018 comedy special. But yeah, I mean, like, it's about him trying to get asylum as a Palestinian and living in the United States, living in Houston, being bilingual, speaking Spanish and, Arabic and English, so trilingual. And it was just really, really well done. It was very believable. I talked before about the biggest thing for me about watching, especially like something that's designed to be like a sitcom or something like that, is that are the characters believable? Do I feel like these are real people? This is absolutely a show that gives you that feeling.
Yeah, I'll put it on the queue.
Yeah, you definitely got to check that out.
I love that show.
Yeah. Have you, I mean, you know Mo Amer. Have you seen him around, right?
I have not, no.
No, but are you familiar with his show?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like, it's very unique. He talks about being Muslim. He brings his mom to the show all the time, and it's really cool, like, to hear his background, like, how he rose up, and they're like, a comedian? Like, what the hell? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool to see. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big thanks to Ken Garr for being here today.
You guys are welcome. Yeah, thank you so much. That was a very quick applause.
Yeah, it was.
No, it's fine.
We'll do later. We'll do better.
Yeah,
We'll do better live.
I recorded it for my phone, so I don't have to worry my hands. So when I get it back to press play, you'll know it's me in the front. Right
this
there.
is a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. Before we get out of here, tell us what you got going on. Where we can follow you on social media and.
My website's kengarr.com. I got all my shows listed there, all my tours, and I got Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok are all Ken Garr was taken. KenGarr was taken. I wanted Ken Garr, but it was taken.
Make him an offer.
Yeah. I also have got, I don't know when this comes out, but I've got Dubai coming up, Saudi Arabia coming up. I got Vegas coming up the end of the month, September 26th through October 2nd. So if you're out in Vegas, hit me up and come to see a show. And then at the end of October, I'm going to be in Gilbert, Arizona, at a comedy club called JP. So got a lot of shows coming up.
That's awesome. And you got a show tonight, which we're going to be at.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So we're going to be there at Comedy Bar tonight for the late show.
And check out my special on Amazon Prime. It's called American Hero. And just type in American Hero Ken Garr and it'll pop up.
You know the special thing I really like about your special.
What's that?
Is the font you use to write American Hero is what we use for our logo.
Oh, really?
It's the same one.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, James Webb, who shot it and edited it, he just actually directed Sam Morrill's Netflix special.
Yes, I did see that.
He actually, my buddy Michael Malone directed the special, and then James edited it and shot it. It was just amazing.
It's perfect. I mean, the name of the font is like Americana.
Yeah.
So I mean,
so it's there you go.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect.
I wanted Comic Sans, but.
Z, you got a big announcement for us as well.
Yeah, so we will be adding to the 606 Media family. We're going to be adding another show. It is called No Water on the Weekend. I've actually been on the show 3 times.
Yeah.
Those are great guys over there, Steven and company.
And he was on the show not too long ago.
He was. He came in and filled your big shoes one day. And it's great to add different types of podcasts that appeal to different types of audience. And to be honest with you, these are homegrown guys. We're talking about nothing but Chicago podcasters, and it's a great time. It's very similar to what we do as far as the big three.
Right.
But,
just a long format.
A longer format. I mean,
way more booze.
Yeah, a lot more booze. I controlled myself this time and didn't drop too many F-bombs this time. It wasn't me. It was the tequila talking. It was the tequila talking.
The tequila was driving the F-bomb train right through the show.
Oh, 1,000%.
Every fucking time.
So look out for No Water on the Weekend. You can find us at No Water on the Weekend on Instagram, and it's on Twitter, and anywhere podcasts are available. They're available to listen to. So go ahead. New episode should drop this week.
That's right. And check it out. All Net Podcast is coming back, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank goodness.
Mike, Logic, and Idea are going to be back after every Bulls game, talking to you live on Facebook. So go ahead and check that out. It should be a lot of fun. And, he's always got a lot of good insight about not just the NBA, but also the WNBA. He's been pretty heavily invested in that as well. So definitely check him out. And, hey, look. That's all I got. That's all I got, guys.
That's all we got. We gotta go to this comedy show.
We do. We got to get ready. So, hey, that is it for today. Thank you so much for listening. A big thank you to our sponsors, 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF podcast t-shirt. Search for keyword True Chicago and use our promo code TrueFan15 at checkout for 15% off of your entire order. That is TrueFan15. Go and get your shirts right now. The Shy Native Radio Podcast is now available on all major platforms. Mike Logic, Ideal, and Throw MC talk about sports, movies, and all types of ill shit. Go and check them out right now. And if you are a musician in the Chicago area, submit your song to them. If they like them, they will play them on the air. So make sure you go and check them out and get your music out there. Shout out to Ronesh, Panic, Serious Beats, and Custom Made for the beats we played on today's show. Check out paniconthebeat.com for all your Mole Men merch and gear. And don't forget to check us out on social media. You can find us at True Shy Fans on Twitter and on TikTok. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and reach out to us. Hit us up with your Stirring the Pot recommendations. Tell us what you think about the show and anything else you want to throw at us. Any questions that you want answered on the show, you can always hit us up at truechicagosportsfans@gmail.com. All right, y'all. For Big Z, this is E-Roc. We'll see you next week for episode 111. Until then, be good to each other.
For the love of sports.
Hey, this is comedian Ken Garr, and I was just a guest on the True Chicago Sports Fans podcast with
E-Roc.
Big Earl
E-Roc.
and G-Money and a bunch of weirdos. So tune in!
A few moments later.
Wait, the Bears are what we thought they were. What we thought they were.
This is not how we wanted it to go. You almost can't even make it up. It's that bad.
Oh, my goodness! Didn't see that coming! What? Did we just become best friends? Yup!
You have a lot of incest.
That's real. Shut your mouth.
Lover boy.
Nature versus nurture, Lodge. Nature always wins.
I think he's on steroids.
Hasta luego, amigos! That's all. I shouldn't have those artichoke poppers.
Thanks, Cubs!